has tuned in last time, and for those who are new to the stream, today we're going to be building a little bit more of the Lego City of Lanterns set from Monkey Kid. So, yeah, I had a little bit of a technical issue in the last live stream. Didn't know it, and didn't have any audio for the last little bit of it. So if you experienced that going back through and watching these, sorry about that. Didn't know. It tends to be a little glitchy when I'm doing the live stream thing from my phone. But I think I figured out why that happened, and don't think that should be a problem this time. So, like I said, welcome everybody back. Of course, we're building on a Sunday right now. There's no better time to build. Of course, any time is a good time, right? Any time. It doesn't matter. All right, we're on bag number 11. We're going to be continuing to build up what I believe is a little like Asian food market. And of course, in the context of the greater world, not having such a Western-centric perspective, it would just be a food market. I mean, most of the world is Asia when it comes to the land portion of the earth. So maybe I shouldn't say Asian food market. Maybe it's just a food market. All right, got some of the little pieces going right here. And I think that we're actually going to be building up the top of it here. I made the mistake last time of saying that I thought that the entire little food market was going to be contained to one bag and then we'd move on to something else. That is not the way that it's going to go. Apparently there's multiple steps and multiple areas to look at. So, but I think that this might get the majority of this building and then build on top of it another room or another building of some sort. But I guess we'll just kind of discover it as we go. All right. Now with everything out of the way, let's go ahead and get started. This is, of course, the set that I think most people were the most excited about when it came to this latest wave of Monkey Kid. For me, I was pretty well excited about all of them. The only thing that I don't gravitate to quite as much are vehicle-based sets. And really, I shouldn't say vehicle-based sets. What I actually mean by that are vehicles that are like cars. And but if it's a specialty vehicle, like the Galactic Explorer spaceship, yeah, you can count me in. But the more kind of just like, hey, it's a race car, the less interested I get. Kind of like the May vehicle they had this time. And nothing against the character, but the pattern for me is that most of the May-centric sets I never have much interest in because, and it's nothing to do with the design or anything like that. It's usually because it's a bike or a race car. And, you know, that's cool. But I definitely think those sets are meant to fulfill an obligation of being more appealing to the younger fans, particularly in China. Of course, the sets aren't really even geared to American children at all. So instead, what we end up with is kind of like the whole push in America almost feels like it's, maybe this is just by virtue of it only being sold in the Lego store. It ends up feeling, anyway, like AFOL-centric, you know, adult fan-centric kind of thing, where it's like a specialty item, and it's definitely doesn't feel like a, hey, get this at Walmart, get this at Target, because you can't. All right, here we have the sign. It has a date, but it doesn't have any English wording, so I don't know what that says. I think it says 1990, so this place, if we're looking at a futuristic version of Hong Kong or whatever this is, the City of Lanterns is kind of a facsimile to in terms of Chinese cities, then if it's a futuristic version, then this place has been in operation a long time, if it's been around since 1990. At least that's the way I'm choosing to look at it. It kind of gives it that extra little wrinkle, doesn't it? Okay, I got that on there pretty well. Pretty satisfied with that. Very rare case of getting it on the way I wanted to first time. And I have found with myself lately that I'm becoming a little, I don't know, I'm getting a little crazy when it comes to obsessing over some of these labels. I think I need to cool it on trying to get them just perfect, because that's just never going to happen. I want them to be as good as they can be, of course, but I mean, at some point you can't. There's only so much you can do. I think we all have to realize that about ourselves. These, unfortunately, look like they're going to be a little miserable because they're between two studs, and trying to center this while trying to figure out what their version of centered is between the two studs is going to be kind of difficult. It's okay, though. I'll figure it out. You know, every now and then in this case, if you can find a good flat piece like one of these, if you don't have, like my X-Acto, I'm not sure where it's at, so I don't want to get up and have to go grab it. So if you find a fairly flat piece like this one, you can kind of just stick it on the end here and use it to be able to see kind of the middle and sort of figure out where it needs to go. It's just kind of one trick you can use. Of course, I'm a big fan of utilizing the wax paper backing that you get with the stickers, because you can use that to remove stickers. You can use it for all sorts of different purposes. And I think all of this is meant to be like the signage for the place. At least I think that that's what they're getting at with it. And unlike the bubble tea restaurant, which had English lettering, there's a little bit less clarity, I think, on this one. A little less clear what exactly their purpose was. You know, I have an idea for them, and you know, Lego's never going to watch this, but a free idea, they can have it free of charge. I don't, just maybe send me a set, you know. That would be the one gentleman's request I would have if you end up using this idea, Lego, because I know you're monitoring this channel just so closely. And it's why don't for one of the next waves, why don't we get a big arcade that's supposed to be, you know, in the City of Lanterns? Because the thing is, in the show, yes, I do watch the Monkey Kid show. It's on Amazon Prime now, if anybody's interested. In the show, there is kind of an arcade location that it will always kind of flash to, that May and Monkey Kid, MK, whatever you want to say, that they love to go to. That it's like a big attraction for them. So why not do that as a set? They've already done a small version a couple of times, I think, in some of the bigger sets of an arcade, and and in most of them there was kind of a running theme of video games being around. So why not just kind of take that concept to the next level, have fun with it, and yeah, just keep going with that. I think that would be pretty fun. So we're going to apply this sticker twice. Same thing both times. So we'll get it on this one. Had a little bit of trouble there, but it should be fine now. Okay. And then we have another one to apply. But I think I'm not the only one that would like a big arcade. And the great thing is, I think the City of Lanterns ended up having a tremendous amount of crossover appeal, because there was a lot of people that just wanted a more affordable kind of Ninjago type of city. And I think you could have the same kind of crossover appeal, because you're going to have people who just want a cool arcade for their Lego cities. And that's something that I think that Lego is beginning to figure out with some of their themes and some of their sets, how to take something and bring in multiple audiences to it, whatever that is. They've certainly figured that out over the years with Ninjago. That's definitely something that keeps getting that treatment, because they keep taking things that would probably be completely separate new themes and turning them into Ninjago extensions. Kind of like the underwater theme, like the Atlantis type of theme. They took people like me who desperately want to see a revival of Lego Atlantis, and they kind of just took the sets that they would have made for that, and slapped Ninjago on them, included some ninja minifigs, and called it a day. I mean, I'm sure there was a lot more to it than that. I don't want to sell the designers short or anything, but I still say that that was definitely one of the things when they were designing the sets. There were probably, I would say there was guys working on those who grew up with Lego Atlantis, because it's been a few years, or at least they were younger when Atlantis was a thing. And you can't tell me that that didn't permeate their ideas, permeate their designs, because I think it did. I think there's some osmosis there from a creative sense. I think there was a lot of fans of Lego Atlantis who probably never buy Ninjago stuff, but bought the latest stuff, because that was me. Never, ever buy Ninjago stuff. And saw some of that latest stuff with the, what is it called? The Temple of the Eternal Waves or something. And the mech, the underwater mech, deep sea mech. And had to grab those because those were so Atlantis-esque, which is exactly what I was in the market for. All right, so this time we have a repeating step where we do 2 of these. There it is. So we got some Jolly Green Giant colors going here. That's what I think of. I think of Jolly Green Giant and Sprout. I see these kinds of colors. Kids at home thinking, who's Jolly Green Giant? Well, kids. It's hard to believe they even canned vegetables had a mascot. People were mascot crazy for a few decades there. Some of that is kind of died down, I think, in the modern era. I don't think there's as much care put into marketing some of this stuff. There's certainly not as much care about the cereal. Have you all noticed this? Cereal mascots are dying down. Not much of a thing. I'll tell you what I think they figured out is that for special events, people like cereal mascots and all of that. Like Count Chocula, all the monster cereals. Now those are sold just in like a limited capacity, and I think that's probably pretty smart. I think you can be a lot more successful that way, I think. Well, I really like this because you're kind of creating that little tiled roof effect. I think that's actually pretty smart. Pretty clever. Okay. And same for the other side of the roof. I just made one quick little neurotic change there to make sure that the little connection points were facing the same way. Those tiny little beads where the plastic joins. Yeah, I know, that's as crazy as it gets, but I mean, it looks a little nicer when they're pointing the same way. At least I think it does. Maybe that's a crazy thing, but why not improve the look of your set just a little bit? It's those simple little things too. You might as well, while you're doing it, you might as well get it right, rather than you having to go back later and redo and reassess. At least that's my thoughts on it, I think. I saw everybody has different methods, like when they're working with this stuff. And I saw a guy, he did a video about fixing stickers, especially in used sets that you buy. Sometimes you got to fix these guys' stickers because they've turned out horribly or they misapplied them or something. Well, he was showing that, and what he did was he had a hot coffee cup, and he would lay the stickers on the cup, or like press them against them, or the piece, I guess, he would press against it with the sticker on it. And over, you know, maybe about a minute, that would soften the glue up enough so that he could work with it a little bit better. And I actually thought there was some genius there behind that. I thought, you know, it's actually a safe amount of heat. It's controlled. It's not like me where I'm always trying to use a heat gun for everything and almost end up melting things down, which is never a grand plan, but I keep trying it. I think I just need to be a little more conservative about my settings on my heat gun. I'm surprised I've not hurt myself yet. Hopefully I don't. I'm trying to be careful. But yeah, I thought that was pretty clever, taking like a hot mug, a coffee cup. What is it the Ghostbusters called it? A hot beverage container? And what, balloons for the kids? That's the other thing the Ghostbusters promised. It's promotional items. You know, I actually think that would be an hilarious little gift, like a little freebie you could get, is if you got both of those things, the hot beverage container and the balloons, like if they gave that out. I know that there's supposed to be the big multi-film set with Afterlife coming in it, and that would have been a great little pre-order bonus, I think. That would have been pretty terrific, I think. All right, looks like we're building out a few little panels here. And these are going to go up above in this little area on the roof, which is interesting. This tells me we may be we're either finishing out the roof on this or we're getting ready for another level that is a completely separate building or a second floor. So I'm not really sure what we're looking at just yet. But I have a feeling it'll be neat, whatever it is. It'll be pretty cool. All right, and for this one, we're going to do this twice. And you know what? I spent part of the last live stream bemoaning that I was getting it wrong about this not being a restaurant. Maybe this means it is a restaurant, because at the time I thought it was just a one-story building. But turns out this is either, like I said, it's either a completely separate business or this is the second story. And I think what we're making right now are some dining tables. At least that's what it seems like. That's the feeling I'm getting from some of this. I think we're making some dining tables. Because in the middle, you've got your, I mean, maybe that's what this is. I don't know. Would this be like a wok in the middle? Like the giant stir-fry bowl? Like you do fried rice in, like a hibachi chef would use? Maybe that's what this is. I don't know. I guess the joy is in the discovery of it. It's either that or some really fancy toilets. No one's really sure just yet. Okay, so looks like we've got some little, what almost seems like heat sources right here that we'll just plug into the middle. Yeah, it's just kind of deep down in there. So that tells me that either it's a sauce or like a hot surface. So it could still be going with my wok theory, maybe. What a funny word, by the way, wok. What a bizarre term. then this looks like some of the little miscellaneous items that are scattered around the table. When you get into this scale, it's kind of hard to say definitively what some of this stuff is intended to be, I guess. Then we have a container here that's probably like yum yum sauce or something. That's what we're gonna say it is. I'm not a yum yum sauce guy. My wife, she loves yum yum sauce, like at a Chinese restaurant, but I think for me there's a mayonnaise component to it that I'm not there for it. Give me soy sauce all day. I'll be happy. No need for anything else. Okay, got some little grabbers here. Not really sure what's going to be mounted into these. We'll find out. Okay, there we go. Oh, those are where you put your chopsticks. Cool. It's like a little table placement. Well, that seals it, whether this is the second story of this building or the start of a new business. Whichever one it is, this is definitely the restaurant component, the Chinese food restaurant, which is cool. I was actually kind of disappointed that when I was thinking it wasn't a restaurant earlier, or the last live stream, I mean. So I'm actually glad to see that get paid off, because I thought for sure, I was like, you do something like this, it's supposed to be representative or indicative of a city. It would be a shame for it not to represent some kind of restaurant area. Honestly, for most cities, if you were trying to represent them in Lego, a lot of it would be restaurants, not just one or two things. All right, so this is going to go up here and kind of butt up against those little platforms that we already have there. So right up against it. Oh, those were seats. Well, you learn something new every day, every live stream. Look at that! What a neat little area built up. Can't say enough good things about the micro kind of scale. That scale that's just barely big enough to fit minifigs into. To me, that is the epitome of what you can do with these sets that are supposed to represent like vast areas. Just get just enough room in there for the cities and for the minifigs to kind of breathe a little. Just enough. Oh, this is cool. Okay. And so this is yet more in terms of little condiments and okay. I'm going to say this is some different varieties of soy sauce. We're going to say that's what it is. We're going to leave it at that. Okay, there we go. Have a little layout there. What is that green stuff called that some people eat with? Oh, wasabi, right? Maybe this is supposed to be representative of wasabi? I have never tried it, but I have been told that it's kind of an acquired taste for the Western palate. We're supposed to be super strong, right? Or spicy or something. I don't know much about wasabi. Maybe I'm missing out. Maybe I'm missing out on the wasabi boat. Maybe someone can tell me in the chat about why wasabi is an essential part of the Asian dining experience. Maybe I just don't know it. I'm certainly open to trying new things, so maybe I ought to give it a shot. Looks like we have something here that's going to be mounted on the other side, some kind of mounting bracket. Starting to sound like This Old House. Talk about mounting brackets, which is appropriate, I guess, for a Sunday Lego live stream. Lord knows that my dad and I watched many a Sunday's worth of This Old House. Always a highlight of the day. Can't forget these little guys. Built up there. Okay. Oh, very nice. This almost, yeah, this seems like some ventilation right here, as if, you know, you were cooking and you had the little vent that like leads outside. Especially prominent, you know, if you've got like a commercial grade deep fryer or something like that, and you have little vents you can switch on. Yeah. People who have worked in the little short order cook world will know exactly what I'm talking about. People who've worked those jobs like me kind of know what's happening. Okay, so this just mounts up right here. Okay. The plot thickens. Interesting. All right, and then we have some of these cool little, I call them Asian like staircase railings. And what's great is that they're done in that kind of unlimited style, to where if you bought like a ton of these from Bricks and Pieces, you could just keep connecting them over and over again. I don't think this is too old a piece. I think it's fairly new. And I would guess that they came up with it for some of the Chinese New Year sets. But, you know, that could be completely wrong. I'm not very good at knowing the origins of pieces because, honestly, I'm kind of a novice at a lot of that. I don't think I've been as seriously into the hobby as many years as a lot of other people, so I end up not knowing the origins of pieces. And I've always had funny moments where I've thought pieces were new, and it turned out they've been around for years. They just hadn't been used very often. I do remember having a lot of positive thoughts about some of the Nexonites pieces that were brand new, like the new shield piece, and some of the new minifig components, even like Axel, the big guy from Nexonites. His construction was just like he was a completely newly tooled like body that used, I think he still used like a standard minifig head. I really loved that kind of thing. Shame that didn't go as far as they hoped it would. Came out at a bad time for me too. I really couldn't have afforded a lot of the sets I think that I wanted. In a perfect world, I think I would have been a completist when it came to Nexonites. But it's probably just as well that I wasn't, because it turned out it was not a very long theme for this world. And it's a shame to say it, but, you know, there's those themes that when there's no new material, things just kind of stagnate. And that's probably what Nexonites would have ended up doing as well. I think there would have been some stagnation there. So it's probably for the best that I didn't get into it. Oh, this is really cool. So this is a big window piece where we're going to be applying one of the giant stickers like this, which are usually honestly pretty hard to get right. But what I like is that these are traditional novel interpretations of the main characters from Journey to the West. So you can't beat that. just another sign that Lego, after watching that documentary about it, I think that really helped me to understand just how culturally careful, if we can use that term, culture. I think they took some great care in making sure that they weren't disrespecting anything, that it didn't seem too blatant as a for-profit kind of exercise. Because, I mean, of course it is. Because, all business is like that. All capitalist companies are foray into profit of some sort, but you don't want to disrespect something that's important. See, that's pretty cool. I like that. Nice decoration. I like it. Okay. All right. So this goes into this bracket here. I actually like it from the other side as well, because you kind of have that lighter look on the other side, and darker on the forward facing. I like it. Word of caution when it comes to these is, to me, it always seems like that with transparent stickers, and with any of the Lego stickers now, it seems like they're especially susceptible to you kind of getting these creases in them as you try to reposition them and you try to peel them back off and then, get them perfect. It's very, very easy to get these funny like creases going. So watch out for that, because I kind of did that on the last sticker. Not too big of a deal to me. I remember I kind of freaked out the first time I did that, but then I had to remind myself that everything is, that, it's not a big deal. Not one of these sets are going to be perfect, and you can obsess and all that as much as you want, but it's not going to help your enjoyment of the set. If nothing else, it'll give it a little bit of character. That may be an easy way to excuse yourself for getting something wrong, maybe a cheap way, but it works for me. Whatever you got to tell yourself, right? Give yourself a modicum of peace. There we go. Yeah, that's nice. And what I like here is that's clearly the traditional versions of Sandy and Pigsy. That's so cool. It matches ancient paintings of the characters. I'm learning new things about Journey to the West all the time, which it's honestly, it's extremely important to understanding Asian culture, is understanding more about Journey to the West, because it informs so much of the, I think, character of the country's history. One of the things I've learned was that apparently one of the people in the story, one of the main guys, some of the characters are real historical Chinese figures. So there's an element of, if you're not careful and you're trying to adapt this, you can accidentally, there's a little bit of sacrilege there if you're not careful or you do it wrong, or there's kind of a blasphemous element, which I don't think we deal with too much in Western culture, unless you're talking about something strictly religious, and then it's very much still present. But in Asian culture, even something that isn't, there is some crossover, I think, between Journey to the West and some religious and historical facets of Eastern culture. And it's something, honestly, I would probably, if given the opportunity, I would probably take a course on it if I could. I think it's probably something that I could benefit from understanding a little bit more of, I think. joining up the parts of the roof there. Cool. Okay, didn't have that on all the way. Let's get a little bit more of a bird's eye view here. These sets have been educational for me as they've inspired me to learn more about some of these Asian legends. One of the sets, which I've not gotten yet because, you know, if you're like me, you can't get it all, you know, right away. You got to build up. Was the Chengi's moon base. I think Chengi is the right way to say it. Not sure, though. And as a result of that, I ended up doing some research into some of the legends, some of the Asian legends surrounding the moon and the moon goddess who lives there. And that was a part of their culture. Not only has it permeated into Chinese culture as Chengi, but I can't remember the name for the Japanese version of the same concept, which are, of course, closely related ideas. And that Sailor Moon is, in some form, is indeed a kind of an adaptation or a riff or a play on that in a way. It's a story that I think Western fans watching the anime would watch it and, you know, be like, oh, that's a cool original sci-fi creation. But then when it plays different. It plays very differently in Japan because there's a whole mythology backing it up. There's a different feeling, almost like a lost time, or there's something like below the surface. All right, here's our extra parts bag. As is tradition, we will keep gathering our extra little tiny trinkets. Really pleased with how this is looking. Man, was I ever wrong about the one bag concept. I should have known by looking at some images of the city that there's no way that some of these buildings, you know, could possibly be thrust into just one bag. Here's bag number 12. So really, this has been a 3-bag deal, this building. Now, saying that, I think it's one of the more prominent builds in the set. I think this building here. I think it's one of the more complete builds. So that probably has something to do with it being sprawled out over 3 different bags. I guess if I were a wiser streamer, a more experienced streamer, a more successful streamer, I would probably have planned out the parts of my stream like that and say, okay, you know, this on this part I'm going to do this whole building. On this part I'll do this whole building. I think that would have been a lot better. But you know, you live and you learn, and I'm still a huge proponent of making sure that you kind of stay fresh on the whole deal, that you're not inspecting every little element of the build. Of course, you need to be able to make good decisions about what you're buying and if it's your kind of set or not. But I think at some point, you've got to kind of step back from it just a little and just let the experience of building it, the build experience, which as I get older is of paramount importance to me. I think that's what you've got to kind of let guide you a little bit in your enjoyment of the set, because it is all about enjoyment, building these things up. That build experience, that play pattern that even adults, I think, get just as much, if not more, than the kids who play with it. That's why there's so many of us that are 30 plus building these, 20 plus, because there is an element of Zen that I think if more folks in the mainstream discovered, I think it would be even bigger. There is an element of I think there's some peace that goes with the building process, especially on a Sunday. I've had the Lego experience is kind of a palate cleanser for me. I can be in kind of a crabby mood, and just the building experience can reset that negative train of thought. Makes you more purposeful, makes you a little more thankful for things around you. Lego right now is using this hashtag. It's this, I think they're trying it out as their slogan or whatever. And this may have been around for a long time, but to me, I've only noticed it recently. I could be speaking out of ignorance here, but everybody's using that hashtag rebuild the world. And I think that's really brilliant, actually, because you hear that at first, you kind of chuckle just a little, but then I think the more you think of that, the more you kind of get what it's saying. There's an element of that. You're kind of rebuilding yourself a little bit too. You're just getting some zen, some enjoyment there. I love how this is building up, because it's, you know, your second story, and now we're going on to what appears to be some sort of third level, even if we're just talking about a roof here, and maybe that's all it is. It's still cool. And there is not much to this bag, not really. So this won't take long. There's even less to bag 13 after this. So that's going to be a brief experience too. Whatever we do with bag 13. For all I know, I've been so wrong about the pace of it so far. Bag 13 may be adding even more to this. And I just think that we're coming to like a capstone here. Really, we're not. All right, and to match the blue plates that we did earlier with the little gold logos, we have some more of those. Only this time it's to me, it looks like the same sticker pretty much, but it's numbered differently, so sure, why not? We're gonna say it's a different sticker. Yeah, no, it is numbered the same. Yeah, it's sticker 38. I was looking at the wrong number. Yeah, they're numbered the same. So they're all the same decal. You could technically, if you liked one of your applications better than the other, you could switch out the pieces and it wouldn't matter. I'm a big proponent of Lego just as a company giving you an extra set of stickers in every set. And I know some people may hear that and be like, no, they'd never give that away. But I mean, it's just probably, if I had to guess, 5 cents is probably a value, is what that would be adding. I would say that the actual production of the sticker sheets is one of the cheapest elements of a Lego set. And it would save me a tremendous amount of trouble when things go wrong or the stickers get crushed, because that all happens. And it just gives you a little bit of a backup. Gives you a little bit more peace about the situation, especially if you mess one up too bad. You can kind of just lean on that extra that you've got there. And I think that could be a lifesaver for a lot of builders like me who want to make sure that every little thing is perfect with the stickers. Of course, the real evolution would be Lego moving away from stickers, which I think they should. I think they need to move away from them and go to prints only. Although, as I mentioned before, Lego themselves sometimes can't get the prints on straight. So take that for your own amusement, I guess. Like R2 units in Star Wars sets, apparently those prints, however they're being applied, whether by hand or by machine, those prints are Apparently they're on crooked a great deal of the time. Much to the chagrin of the folks buying them. Because then what do you do? But, you know, unless it's some kind of exclusive R2 unit, I think there's probably so many floating around out there, nobody worries about it too much. Chances are you've got at least one that would work out pretty well for what you need. Still no excuse, though. Okay. Love how quickly that's building up. It just seems like we're getting so much bulk on there so quickly. It just makes it a lot more fun when that pace increases like that, and you can feel that pace kind of clench as you go. And this is really interesting. I guess this is just a design element. I don't think it's supposed to be anything in particular, but what you're going to do is just take one of these and add these gray wedges. And you add the wedges going in one direction, going this way, like cascading. And then you go the other way, and they just kind of meet in the middle. See, I think that's fun. Oop. There we go. See how cool that is? Like I said, I think that's just a really neat design element that goes on the top of the building there. I could be wrong, but I think that's what it is. And that may be something that folks who live in Asia, maybe they see that quite a bit. And I think we have more of that design element right here. Kind of finishing out that look at the very top. We'll get a little bit higher up to where that's a little bit more palatable. The view is a little more reasonable, I think. Okay. Connect that. And then it looks like we're going to be doing a repeat of what we did earlier with the green tiled roof. I think that kind of emerald, that kind of jade color is always a great part of that Asian aesthetic. Don't think that that's stereotypical of me to say or anything like that. I just think it's me identifying architectural styling. Every culture has motifs that I think we employ, that I think our culture has found that they're more predisposed to, I guess is the right term. So I don't think that's a bizarre thing to say or anything to say that there's an Asian motif in some of the design work here, because I think there is, especially when it comes to these tiled roofs. I'll tell you a set that I would really like. I doubt it's the kind of thing that will ever get made, and there's probably not even enough interest. I would want, from the first Shenmue game, Ryo Hazuki's house and dojo. I actually think it would be a fairly appropriately sized thing to try to replicate in Lego. I just think it would be great. I loved exploring that house in the original Dreamcast game. And I think I would really enjoy building it as a Lego set. Throughout this live stream, we've spoken a lot about Lego's quest for the Chinese market, but I guess it's such a small market. I was just kind of wondering if Lego had ever considered the Japanese market, but I just don't think, I guess it's such a small island. I guess the population, I guess that's small potatoes or something to Lego. I do think that there would be a fair amount of money to be made there, so maybe it's something they should consider. We have our air conditioning unit here. At least that's what I think that we're making. Just a great idea from a cool little exterior design point. Have a little unit just propped up there. That would be pretty cool. Okay. And that is going to mount to this white piece right here, which I was wondering why it was staying exposed like that, but that's because this connects in. Okay, great. So we've got our AC unit. I'm still wondering, I guess this is going to be a big sign right here. Oh, cool. Okay. It's showing me a little preview of what we're making, and I think what it is a giant walk, like a three-dimensional, like brick-built walk. And we're going to build some of the food contents inside of it. How cool is that, though? I mean, really. I guess I should have trusted that original instinct that I was building a restaurant, because indeed I was. The whole thing is, I think, one thing. Pretty sure it's a restaurant. I know there's definitely, I'm sure, a simplification in Lego not doing a bunch of multilingual versions of all their stuff, and that's why even when you look in one of the instruction manuals, there's a tremendous amount of, I think there's a quadlingual kind of deal where it's all sorts of different languages in there. And so I get that. I do wish that there might be a little bit more of a naming happening for every portion you build. Like if it, if a little word bubble come out from cartoon Monkey Kid and he was like, hey, now you're going to build this, now you're going to build that. But then again, maybe people wouldn't want that. Maybe people are more wanting it to be surprising and, like I said, spontaneous as you build. So maybe that's something they purposely don't do. But every now and then it may be helpful for a set like this one. Okay, we have some framing here to take away some of the studliness. Okay. All right, got that. Then we have some pieces that will get stickers right here. So that's going to provide a little bit of that extra detail to it. There's one. And here's one. I think I'm placing these correctly, but it's always really easy to get confused because I'm trying to follow what they've done, and it's not quite as simple as it looks. Okay, I think it's like that, yeah. And I don't think the orientation of the next couple of stickers matter too much, but you can see there's like little food designs, almost like little bits of food and soup. So I'm going to try to get kind of the way that they have it on here, but I don't think it's too important to get it like to be a perfect match in terms of the way it's oriented. That looks cool. And then the next one. Okay. So they almost look like little question marks. Some of the little soupy kind of details there. They sort of do. Look at that. Right on target. Okay. Now that we got most of the stickers out of the way, we're going to add a little grabber here and a few more. Oh, this is fun. So apparently we're going to be building some giant brick built chopsticks or something. Yeah, I believe so. Giant brick built chopsticks. Who would have thought, right? What's the odds? What's the odds? What's great about this is there's a certain level of articulation you get. See that? How I can kind of adjust them? Because the little clamp there is able to just kind of rotate freely. So you can have them in a much more, it would have been a shame if they were like straight as an arrow, right? But here you can kind of angle them both inwards and get something a lot more natural to what you expect from someone to actually utilize chopsticks. Yeah, that's really nice actually. I like that. Okay, and now we're doing like a, I think it's a dragon's face. So this should be fun. Especially because I think this is like your traditional ancient Chinese art of a dragon's face. Something you might see at a Chinese restaurant. Some kind of decoration or signage, perhaps. So that's always fun. Usually the dragons are always smiling. Have you noticed this? Some really happy looking dragons out there in Chinese restaurants. Okay, so we've got kind of our base established here. There's definitely a funny look going right here with the dragon's face. You'll see what I mean here in a second because he's, before we complete it, look at this. He's got these eyes. He almost looks, you know what? Yeah, the more I build, the more I'm realizing this is not going to be a dragon's face. It's a monkey. I thought for sure, okay, this is like going to be, you know, your traditional Chinese restaurant signage where there's a dragon. Nope. This, I can tell right away now, looking at it, as the eyes and the ears there. I didn't even know what those were before. Nope, this is a monkey. This is to, once again, celebrate the Monkey King. And you have to imagine that in this world, where the Monkey King legend isn't just regarded as an important, almost holy text, it's just their history. It's just what happened with the Monkey King defeating this ancient evil. Then you've got all these businesses would theme according to the story, because Monkey King is like this huge important part of their history, and without him, you know, it's just, it goes on and on. So there's even more, if you can imagine, a more reverent kind of place for the Monkey King legend. At least that's what I think they're getting at with all these businesses, theming. And it kind of just makes it, kind of gives it a reason to have all of this theming be like this. Yeah, we're trying to get the little shining lights there going the right way on the eyes. That's fun. I like it. Then we have a heart piece as the nose, which works really well, actually. Definitely has that simian kind of look to it. Then we have the mount on the back that's going to get it interfacing with the rest of the sign. And it turned out that's what this was for over here, this little clamp. So it's as if the monkey is eating like a bowl of noodles here. Look at that. Ain't that beautiful? Look at this. It's gorgeous. Absolutely gorgeous. Almost missed this. I was wondering why I had this giant piece laying there. It's because we've got to put this in as a big support for the walk to kind of give it something to grab onto for the back. I'm glad I noticed that sooner rather than later. It would have been awkward as I tried to stick it on there. Wouldn't have quite gelled. All right, let's get this connected. Oh yeah, that's a strong connection. Yeah, that's going nowhere. Look at this beautiful, beautiful little restaurant. How awesome is that? Okay, it's actually ready to place. Before we place it in, let's definitely have a little look at the whole building. I'm thinking about ordering one of the little electronic turnstile things that can more easily spin this stuff around as I review or live stream or whatever. I think that would be a little more fun. All right, so we have this, all these cool details down here from top to bottom. Yeah, it's a little bit more generous in angle. On the side, you can see the cool traditional drawings of the characters. And on the interior, it's funny, you know, there's no kind of like stair connection to anything, so there's no room for anything like that in this micro scale. But it's just great that you have kind of a little storefront down here, and up here you have your kind of like little eating area, and even a nice little roof area. There's no seating up there like for a patio seating or anything. But loving this, I think that these little details give it a whole lot of personality. It's just I think this is by far out of the little buildings we've done, which we've only done very minor things, but this is really nice. Let's say, yeah, let's say that for now, maybe May is chilling up here. Maybe May. She's up there. All right, let's place this thing. So let's go a little bit higher. And of course, as is tradition, take our extra piece bag here and fill it up. There we go. All sorts of good extra Monkey Kid pieces in there. All right, let's get this thing in. And we just have little tiny circular studs down there for this to just plug into, just little modular connection points where you can easily take this back out if that's what you so desire. Now, one thing I'm curious about before I get it placed is, let's see, I don't know if it will, yeah, I've got it right. I had Pigsy's hot air balloon up there. There we go. Nice and flush there. Beautiful. Absolutely beautiful. Well, just with that, you would almost swear that this were a complete set already, wouldn't you? I mean, just looking at it, you know, you even have... I like how this barely clears the sign here with the monkey's face. It's not making contact, even though you'd swear it was about to. That's pretty funny. I also like how they're sure to have the signage of the bubble tea place just slightly above the tracks to where it's not, you know, it's not just buried down there. I like how they're making sure that you can still see it. Yeah, that's fun. Yeah, I love it. I absolutely love it. See, now I'm just going to toy around with this for the rest of the time. Nothing else will get done. So, there are 17 bags in total for this set. And we're just about to open the 13th bag. And I think that what we'll do is we'll go ahead and do the 13th bag. And that should leave us being able to more easily kind of manage that last kind of step of, or that last group of bags, I think. So let's go ahead. 13 looks pretty light. Looks like it's a much larger size of bag than they actually needed. I don't think there's a tremendous amount of what's going on here, but I think this is pretty much a cube build, like I've been talking about. These buildings, almost like tiny little hotels. I think we're kind of establishing the main look and feel of it. I think that maybe we're creating the main part of the Lego store. And to me, that was one of the most interesting things, most exciting things about this whole build, was the opportunity to create a little Lego store. Unfortunately, Lego has not made it easy to have brick-built representations of their flagship retail location, which I'm always a little bummed out about. I think right now, the only way to currently get one is if you go to a Lego store that has newly opened. And for the grand opening, they give out an exclusive promo of a Lego store set. It's a gift with purchase. I don't even know how many Lego stores are going to open this year in the United States. I would say 0. I mean, there might be 1 or 2. Maybe somebody watching this can tell me where one's opening at. But in my part of the world, my part of the U.S., yeah, there's only a couple in the state, and I'm not close to either one of them. Not even sort of. I am hours upon hours away. So it ain't happening for me. It's okay. I'll use the website. So this is terrific. I have only ever been to an actual retail Lego store one time, but I did get the giant Lego bag that is yellow with the kind of white handles here, and that's what this is emulating. We have this very excited girl right here making a similar expression to what I was making when I visited the Lego store. The one I was at, I was traveling, and very close to Boston in Massachusetts in a giant mall there. So she is very happy with her purchase. What set, and this is my question for you guys in the comments, whether you're watching whether you're watching live or whether you're watching it later, can you tell me what set that she is so excited to have purchased? Which set did she get that absolutely just was blowing her mind and she is just vibing all the way through the mall? Or if you're like me, the set that I purchased when I visited the Lego store was Diagon Alley from Harry Potter, and the exclusive set. And that set was so heavy that it was ripping the bag as I walked through the mall. So I was trying my very best to get out of the mall while still having a bag that was intact to where it wouldn't be destroyed. So that is the set that I was making that stupid expression with. Stupid's a little harsh, but I was making that smiley expression. That's what we'll say. It was a smiley expression. Now, 2 gray plates here. I definitely want to make sure I'm using the right one. I'm pretty sure this is the one they're talking about. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. And then it's the width that's going to be the difference between these two. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Yep, this is the right one. It may seem silly. It may seem like a waste of time, but a little advice to the wise. Always make sure that if you're in doubt, when you're especially just starting a step, just go ahead and count the studs and make sure you're using the right version of a piece. It may seem like a waste of time, but it can save you a lot of heartache if you just go ahead and count. I've been in situations before where I've had to practically disassemble the bottom components of a set, just trying to get everything fixed from my mess up. So just keep that in mind. It's just being proactive. It's just being smart. What can you do? What can you do? You know, I love working with like a little 8x8 like this because it feels like a little, it's big enough to be a little room, like in terms of this micro mini scale. When I say micro scale, I shouldn't be saying micro scale. I'm throwing that around. Micro scale means like the Hogwarts, you know, like that tiny scale where they do like giant buildings and cities and things. That is not what I mean with this. What I'm talking about is that scale where it's a mini, kind of a mini scale for minifigs, like just big enough. And that's why I love working with 8x8 like floor plans on stuff, because it's just enough to suggest some things. It's enough to give you the feel, a lot of the details that they're hoping to convey. You know, I was so excited to finally be going, and this probably sounds pitiful to people who go to Lego store all the time, because I know there's probably some folks watching that have local Lego stores if you're lucky enough to. But for me, it was such a massive event that I even, filmed some of the shelves and things so that I could always kind of remember it. And it wasn't that big of a Lego store either. It wasn't like one of these giant ones that that some people have. But it was big enough to where, I was really, I was just really thrilled to have gotten to go to a Lego store. I have decided one thing. I've decided that every toy collector is just one Lego set away from finding out that Lego is actually one of the main things that they want to collect and build. I believe that sincerely. Because I never would have imagined. I actually remember being kind of like being a little pessimistic about Lego because I thought they were overpriced. Yeah, and that's true. They're too expensive. You are getting a high quality of product for the most part. So I remember I badmouthed them on that quite a bit. And the other thing I used to say was, people are so adamant about these minifigures, yet something like something like Mini-Mates is a lot more impressive. Sure, the Diamond Select used to be Art Asylum, I guess is what they called themselves. All those superhero like minifigures that have all the articulation and all the decals and applications and things. And visually, yeah, they're more impressive than a minifigure. But in recent years, since saying that years ago, decades ago, Lego really tremendously started to up their game when it came to the design work on the minifigures, made them very competitive when it comes to those comparisons with Mini-Mates. And even though they're still not as detailed as something like a Mini-Mate or as articulated, and the articulation is probably something that will actually never be updated. It's funny because the charm of the minifig, it doesn't have to make those improvements. It really doesn't. And once I was sucked into that, and once I kind of realized that, like, where it was visually, yeah, there was no going back for me. That's why I say that every toy collector is just one Lego set away. You'll be shocked with the truth of that statement once you experience it for yourself. So believe it or not, right now, what we're building, at least I think, I could be wrong on this, I think we're building the Pick-a-Brick wall at a Lego store. For those who don't know, Pick-a-Brick are the little kind of circular alcoves that are all along this white wall, each one of them filled with a certain color and style of Lego brick. And that way, mock builders and people who need extra bits and pieces can go in there and fill up a Lego tub with, I think the employee has to do it for you, because I've never done this. I've just seen people do it like on YouTube videos. And that employee will get you so many scoops for a certain amount of money. I don't know if there's a component to this of them weighing it or something like that. I don't think so, but I could be wrong. I don't have any experience with it. That's what I think is being represented here, and I think that's pretty cool. I think this does a good job of representing it as well, especially in that scale that I just keep talking about, where it's just that suggestion of things that are just big enough for the minifigs to engage with them. And have we completed our Pick-a-Brick? Yeah, I think we have. Great call on their part to use the little trans circular pieces for the Pick-a-Brick wall, because it suggests all sorts of color and detail in there, and while still allowing you to see it like a window, which is how the Pick-a-Brick wall actually looks at a Lego store. So that's really cool. All right. I gotta go down a little bit. That's too far off, I think, for this, but I'm loving it because you've got your Pick-a-Brick wall right there, and we'll see what happens with the rest of it. Pretty cool. Good stuff so far. Okay, this is a part that I've been looking forward to for quite a while, and it's one that I don't do too much research into these before I buy them, because I want to, have a little bit of a shock, a little bit of surprise. But this is something I've really been anticipating, and it's all these classic Lego sets that are in this Lego store, almost as if this were like an ideal Lego store, like a mix of times. So this is really cool. These stickers are actually based off of real old Lego sets. So I'm really excited to get these on here. There's some great picks in here too. Really great stuff. And I definitely want to make sure I at least get them sort of straight, because I think that these are, this is such a great idea. So they're all going to be like on a shelf. And you wish that it was like this when you went into a Lego store, like that they had reproductions of all of these classic Lego sets from all different eras. Let's see what the next one is. I think, yeah, the next one is the original classic castle set. See, look at this. How great is that? You can see the little yellow castle right there, which is the color. And if you don't know why the castle was yellow, according to Lego history, the company and the founder of Lego and all of that were adamantly opposed to Lego being used to make realistic vehicles of war like tanks and things. So, because of their pacifist nature, did not want to provide gray building bricks that could even be reconfigured into that type of thing. So their solution was to do like atypical colorings of things that should be gray to avoid the pieces ever being used for that. Of course, nowadays there's a ton of gray pieces, but I'm just trying to explain why the actual castle in that first iteration didn't get those gray pieces. Although it would have been hilarious if, when they did the Lord of the Rings sets, that they were yellow, like for Helm's Deep. It's kind of horrifying now that I think of it. It seems like that would have probably been a really bad idea. But a funny one, though, for sure. Definitely a funny one. All right. We're just going to put that on here. There we go. We have our sets down here. These are so great. How awesome is it that these even exist? Okay, let's see what other parts of the shelf we've got going. Looks like we're building out the bottom of it. Then we just have a blue little stud here that's just meant to, I think, just like suggest the end of another box, maybe. Yeah, this is definitely one of the most epic parts of this build. Just getting to create this fantasy little Lego shelf. I have a feeling there's probably some folks that have just ordered the sticker sheet just so that they could get some of the classic Lego set stickers and then utilize them as they will. So believe it or not, I think next we're actually doing a case, like a display case, and you'll find this in Lego Store, and I saw this in my one time going as well, that this case, that they're always like displaying whatever push set, you know, that they're want you to buy, trying to show it off in front of the other stuff to make sure that you're aware. It's like a promotional thing. And this used to be a big thing at Toys R Us too, God rest its soul. Am I putting this in right? Maybe. But I think that's what I'm building, is a little tiny promotional case. And I remember that, you know, they would light up and sometimes they'd make sounds, especially like Star Wars cases and things. I remember Nexo Nights, that was one of their last big pushes where I saw lots and lots and lots of cases. And for this, we're going to utilize a sticker that is showing that in the display case, wow, didn't know about this one actually. It is the Monkey King mech in the display case. How cool is that? Wow. I love it. I love it. All right. Let's get this sticker on here. I'm so excited that they would actually, you know, and it actually does make perfect sense in continuity too, because we're talking about, you know, this China where the Monkey King is an historical fact of life. Like, he is the savior of the city. And so it only makes sense that they're celebrating him with like a toy or a model or something. Yeah, it's a great idea to homage it like that. And be sure to let me know in the comments down below what you think about other sets that could have been represented here. I would love to hear some of your thoughts, because I'd say there's some people a lot more knowledgeable than I am in terms of what classic sets should have been represented or could have been. represented, to have shown a more complete, a complete look at the brand, I guess. Because I'm curious. You know, I have a feeling that there's probably a lot of folks that wishes for Bionicle representation. That's going to be my guess, is that you've got, is I'm probably going to see some folks talk about Bionicle. I got nothing but respect for those people who are that into Bionicle, because it's too complicated for me to even understand a lot of elements of it. So you've got to be a real workman to get into Bionicle. Like, you've got to put in some time. You've got to do a little research, even going as far as to like watch obscure web comics that people have like archived on fan sites and things. I've got, like I said, nothing but respect, and just impressed always by the extent that Bionicle fans are willing to go to. I feel horrible for the Bionicle fans, because they are staying so dedicated and not really being thrown much of a bone, I hate to say. I do think it wouldn't surprise me, though, to see something for Bionicle pretty soon. Because you got all this talk of what's the 90th anniversary set's going to be. I think it's the 90th. I could be wrong. So there's all the talk about that. Sorry about that. I had to do some sticker repair there. There's all that talk. But then there's that new Iron Man. The one that's like the buildable figure that people are really split on. I think it looks pretty neat myself. I think it's cool. Some people think it looks horrible. I don't think that. I think it's just early. I think it's them trying for the first time like a brick-built version of the creature and hero, what do you call it, building system, CCBS. And so I think that that's what it really comes down to. Yeah, that looks great. You can see the Monkey King mech in there on top of the other sets. That looks awesome. And let's see what else. Oh, we have another classic Lego set here. Get this right here, and I'll show it to you guys. This one right here. Now, I'm thinking that this is one of the Chinese New Year sets, actually. Yeah, I'm pretty sure that's one of the Chinese New Year sets. So that's cool. So it's not just like super old Lego sets. They're also, I think, trying to incorporate a culturally relevant Lego set. If this were China, then yeah, CNY would be a big, Chinese New Year would be a big part. I think in the West, we have a very, very hard time understanding just what a big deal CNY is to the Chinese. It's such a big deal that it essentially shuts down part of our economy for a month and a half, because all the factories shut down. Okay. And everybody has a pretty significant break. It's kind of like a more extreme version of what we see as the Thanksgiving and Christmas holidays. Chinese are way more about Chinese New Year. Okay. Building that shelf right out. Oh, yes, we have one coming up that's very exciting for me. And that is the Classic Space sticker. Oh, man. This is a set I would love to own, like as a collector's item. just have in the box. Although it would be awfully hard for me to keep a Lego set in the box. Look at that. It's gorgeous. Great little simplified cartoon representation of classic space right there. You know what's really funny is I think this might be my favorite thing that I've built in a long time. This little shelf alone is a cause of, I think, just tremendous joy, because it's doing something I wish Lego would do more often. And as funny as it is to say, that thing is break the fourth wall a little bit more. And I know they do all the time by putting in references, but I don't think I've ever seen Lego stick in as many company references like to itself as there is in this set. And there's probably somebody out there a little more knowledgeable than I am about another set where they did quite a few homages, but this is kind of on a different level. We have another set here. Beautiful, beautiful. Is this one of the architecture sets? Is that Sydney Opera House? Maybe. That's just kind of what it looks like to me. Okay. I could have completely botched what that was supposed to be, but you know, it's fine. All right, another shelf built. Little dividers in there. Okay, we have another set. We have a pink box this time. Very nice. I like all the arrangement of colors here. And then probably my favorite one, and the last one, I think it's very telling they saved it for last for these little classic Lego sets, is Lego Pirates. That's right. I believe that's the Black Seas Barracuda. How exciting. Of course, you guys saw me build the new Pirates of Barracuda Bay here on the channel. So if you've not checked that out, check it out. Live stream the whole thing. So a lot of people already know what this means to me. This is just great. Okay, got it on there. All right, and with that, the shelf of Lego is done. And that's going to go on this side right here. Look at that. Pick a brick Lego sets right there. I'll tell you what this reminds me of more than being a standalone store. This really does remind me of the setup of it being a mall, little store in the mall, like the smaller version of the Lego store. If they ever do a shopping mall, and I really hope that they do the Starcourt Mall for Stranger Things, if they ever do that, I really hope they would consider just adapting the same kind of deal for the mall. You know, do a mall version, because most Lego stores are mall stores. There we go. And then we have the door here. Thankfully, I actually have it on correctly this time. We have what looks like a red doorknob. Stick that there in the front of the Lego store. We have some pieces that go along the top here. Move up to where we can see what we're doing just a little bit better. All right. Gives it a lot more of a sturdiness to it. This kind of connects everything. And then this will enforce that even further. I imagine very soon we'll be building on all of this framing. Definitely feel that way. That'll be the bulk of why this is here, I think. All right, big piece for the top. We got a roof. Or at least the divider that separates one area from another. Got that on. I think we have some support columns here for the front of the store. Okay. Oh yeah, that joins that right up and kind of slicks out the look right there. And of course, where would we be without lanterns? Again, hold your shock, hold your awe for a set called City of Lanterns, having several of them hung up everywhere. Lanterns are a part of every structure, it seems, pretty much anyway, in this set. So at least it doesn't feel like a random assemblage of buildings. It actually seems purposeful. And I had a piece fly off a second ago. You probably heard it. Saw me kind of stop what I was doing, kind of look over. But I don't actually know where it went. I was hoping it would just be an extra. Turns out it was a part of the lantern. I could spend a long time looking for it. But I think I have that exact same piece in my parts bag because it was a tiny little gold stud. So why not just get in the parts bag and get the exact same piece? It'll be all right. We're not going to sweat it. I'm sure I'll come across it cleaning or something, sweeping. There we go. Same exact thing. And we're just going to hang our lanterns outside of the Lego store because, as we all know, any self-respecting Lego store has Chinese lanterns on the outside of it, right? That's a thing, right? I kid. All right, bag 14, I think, finishes out the Lego store. It is the roof and all of the cool, like, stuff on the top of it. All the little signage and designs. You know what? I can't stand to leave this unfinished. Let's do it. Bag 14. This will also kind of help us make sure that the last part, that it's doable. That we'll have just 3 bags in that last part, which I think will help pace-wise quite a bit. Yeah, I can't leave this incomplete. That would just be crazy to me. Because this has been the building I've been the most excited about, like that I've had the most hype for. It's definitely not the most comprehensive building so far. That's the incredible Chinese food restaurant. Or I guess just a restaurant in this context, right? It's just a restaurant. But to me, this has been the one I've been the most jazzed for. So why stop when we could just keep going, right? One more bag. Here we go. I'll try to be quick. That way we are not wasting your time. If you're here watching later and you've been following our building of the set, I definitely don't want to keep you waiting any longer. This one, I said that I would be a lot more purposeful about just taking my time and just enjoying the process. And that's great for me, but maybe not so great for the people watching. So there's a time for everything. I definitely want to speed it up for you at this point. Focus a little bit more on getting the build done. The stickers are the thing that ruins the pace with trying to get this stuff done with any modicum of quickness, I think. At least that's what it feels like. It feels like, you're on a streak and things are going pretty fast, and then all of a sudden you're puzzled about how to get a sticker on there the right way, and it just takes forever. All right, speaking of that, I think there is one sticker, mercifully. One sticker. It is just a Lego sticker. This is just the signage for the store. I am very fortunate and very blessed, actually. And, it may sound kind of silly, but I believe, it's a blessing to be able to say that all of the stickers were cut in a very even way this time. Clearly, the process for cutting the stickers isn't completely automated. There's probably some room for error about how the stickers are cut. And Lego is great about giving you, if something's gone wrong with your stickers, they'll take care of you. But, I feel like the last couple of sets that I've gotten, the stickers were cut incorrectly, leaving things like too far to one side or too far to another side. So I'm very glad that that was not the case this time. Everything was very, very even. Can't ask for better when it comes to your stickers. Okay. I've got that almost perfect. Yeah, I'd say it's perfect now. There's our Lego sign. Yeah, it works out great. All right, so just plug that in. And now, with that, I think being the only sticker out of the way, we should be able to work swiftly. All right, let's get to it. Let's get this thing done. Or at least this part of it done, right? The front part, seal that off right there. I'm just excited to add a Lego store to my staple of builds. How great is that? So one thing I'm concerned about, and I guess this is a good concern, is that this set is going to give me an absolute fever for going through and not even necessarily buying all of the associated sets, but finding ways to acquire the buildings, even if that's just by like parting them, getting them like from people that part them out, getting all the little mini buildings from previous sets that I've missed. I think that would be a really great thing to do, because I think that there's some opportunity to connect those buildings with a little modular pin system on the sides. And we'll look at that when we're done, because I have a building from another set, the mech, that I would like to test to see if that's the case. I think that's the case, that they just take a couple of Technic pins and you're good. I could be wrong. I feel like I've said I could be wrong about a bazillion times during this. Gotta learn to stop constantly hedging my bets. Am I afraid someone's gonna sue me or something if I'm wrong about a Lego fact? Disclaimer, anything I say could be wrong. Look at this. It's a beautiful brick built representation of just a Lego stud. Oh, and I was wrong. I was wrong. It turns out that for all 3 Lego stud pieces that we've got Lego stickers that's going to go right on the stud. So, yeah, hilariously, I was wrong about the Lego signage being the only sticker. What's great about this, though, is that since these are rotatable, you don't have to worry about getting these like just so, and you can just rotate it, which I'm very glad that they thought to do, even if it was unintentional, because nobody wants to have to get these like perfectly straight, you know, from all angles. See, this way you can just kind of, that way, you know. You don't have to worry about it. All right, so this is our first mounting bracket for a giant brick-built Lego piece. Lego creating Lego here. Look at that. That's so cool. All right, let's keep going. Not really sure what this is. I think this is like this is going to be something where we can actually, I think something's going to connect to this, like a display, like maybe the dragon, because I know that's a thing for this set. Okay. Okay. And this will plug into the back. Just a couple of pins holding it in right there. Cool, cool. All right, now we're going to be building a yellow Lego piece out of Lego. In Lego culture, would this be considered sacrilegious? You're building Lego out of Lego, maybe. Okay. This was such a great idea to have this giant three-dimensional like brick-built sign made of Lego. It is so cool. It's that meta nature of this build, this part of the build, that I think has really excited me. And the placement is good within the build because it's not right at the beginning. It's not right at the end. It's kind of at a 3/4 of the way. So I even feel like its placement within the build is appropriate because it feels like kind of a milestone, but not the very end or anything. All right, and once again, we create those 3D representations of Lego studs. A Lego stud? You mean like Chris Pratt? He's the only Lego stud I know. Sorry, no, Will Arnett too. Sorry, Will. Oh boy. And Will Ferrell. We'll say that he's a Lego stud too. There you go. Lord Business, which is probably one of the funniest names I've ever heard for a villain ever. And also the epitome of Western, like, economic caricature, capitalist caricature in a Lego film, which is even funnier. See, I love that you can just rotate those around. It's not a big deal. You can get them on there as best you can. So even though I didn't think we'd have to apply these as stickers, they are not a big deal at all to apply. And they don't feel like, you know, pull your hair out or anything like that. Look at that. You can just rotate them, get them exactly how you want them, and you're good to go. Okay, so that will be mounted right over here. Let me make sure my placement is correct. Yep. See, look at that, how that's coming together already. That's so impressive. Just kind of just a neat little look. Wow. Love it, love it. Okay, now we're going to be building the dragon with the remaining pieces. We're done building the bricks, and then we'll be done with this bag and done with the video for the day. At least I think. Who knows? Maybe this will drive me to even crazier lengths. Maybe I'll sit here until the whole thing is done. I don't know. This should be interesting to see how they do the Lego mascot dragon. I'm trying to think of this dragon's name. What is this dragon's name? I can't think of it right off the top of my head. But you see this thing, you know, in any pictures of Legoland or in the stores and things. It's always been a part of the company's iconography. I would love, you know, this is great that we're getting this miniature, like, brick-built version of the Lego Dragon. But wouldn't it be cool if they did an Ultimate Collector set of, like, an intense version? I guess that's what we'll say, an intense version of this dragon. Like a realistic version of the Lego Dragon, where it's kind of as realistic as a fantasy character can be, I guess. But you know what I mean. Like, gnarly looking, crazy version of this dragon. That would be awesome. That would be awesome. Okay, just double checking that I wasn't needing to, like, duplicate this. Like, you know, in case every length is the same or something on the dragon. Oh, I think we're doing the face right now. Yeah. That's cool. Yeah, I like that. So I should stop talking about it. Just build it. Okay, we have our googly eye pieces. It looks like here in this diagram they have them. The light is kind of coming from the side. That's what we're going to try to emulate. There's a one-eyed dragon right there. It's a lot of fun. Yeah. Kind of reminds me of Croc, the old PlayStation character, the old PlayStation game character. That apparently Shigeru Miyamoto and Nintendo may possibly have ripped off some of the conceptual ideas of Mario 64 from, possibly, because originally that company was doing it as a Yoshi game. They showed Nintendo, and apparently Nintendo was like, nah, we don't like that. And then a few months later, they had a prototype running for Mario 64 using a lot of their same kind of ideas about 3D platforming, which was a brand new concept. That's what that reminds me of, though, is Croc. Oh, this is funny. To get the ears, what they've done is they've done the little lily pad pieces, the leaf pieces, whatever you want to call them. I guess they're more leaf pieces, and in green. So you've got the kind of sea monster ears right there, the Bessie ears. I guess I need to put those up. Yeah, there we go. See, how awesome is that? Okay, and then we have a little bit of these wedges to kind of simulate some of that extra detail, like on the side, almost like it has a scaly mane. How cool is that? I like the teeth especially. And right now, what we're building is the bottom part of the jaw. And what's especially cool about this is that it's so wildly simplistic, yet it works. It is the simplest way they possibly could have built this. But from the picture I'm seeing in the instructions, it definitely works. Let's see how well it works here. Oh, yeah. Yeah, I see why the decision was made the way it was. Because look at that. It's perfect. It's even, you know, posable to a very small extent. Like, oh, but this is as closed as it can get because the tongue is blocking it. If you wanted it to be closed all the way, you could remove the tongue and clamp it down like that. But that's supposed to be part of the look of the character. So I think you're supposed to kind of keep it as closed as you can. And then now we're to the part where you repeat the links, like the little links on the dragon. So all of this is going to be done 3 times. So I'm just going to take every move that we do here, every little step, and just repeat it thrice. Special award for saying the word thrice in a Lego video. You won't see that on Jang Bricks. Maybe you will. I don't know. Maybe Jang is over there saying thrice and modicum like I am constantly. Okay. So this next part we put in a wedge. Just keep wedging them here. There we go. Okay. And then for the next step, we include these shields that, oh my, okay. So we have 6 of these shields. I can't believe that they're actually making a sticker. All of these, oh my gosh. It turned out I had to go through, turned out I had a little bit of a challenge to overcome before I could call this done. You know what? I never even realized it, but on the sticker sheet, that's what these are. Can you believe it? That's what they are. This whole time, that was, they were sitting there plain as day. Okay, can't be too picky about these. All right, I've got to just find a pattern that works and just go for it and not get too bent out of shape. Yep, we're going to say that one's good enough. How fast can I sticker? I don't want to do this all day with these scale stickers. Can't believe we have to do it so many times. It's crazy. Yep. And what do you know? That one's good enough. I think. Maybe not. Oh yeah, absolutely fantastic. I'm having so much fun building it. It's crazy. Yeah. Yeah, that clear back stickers, man. Ooh. I didn't have any idea that I was when I first looked at it, I didn't know those were the dragon scales. And here I am. Just meticulously going through. I thought, yeah, this part there won't be that many sticker applications. Well, little did I know. See what, I'm more nervous than Prince Andrew putting these stickers on. Oh boy, horrible joke, horrible joke. Tasteless, tasteless. Next time somebody asks me if I remembered putting a sticker on Crooked Eye, I do not recall. I don't remember. Okay. I wish those would have been printed. If they would have printed anything in this set, I think it would have been helpful to have had the shield pieces printed for the scales. I think that would have been a kind gesture on the part of Lego proper. All right. Getting it all connected right here. Nice. And we have the clear little post that we'll be using to kind of mount the dragon here. What I like is there's a fair amount of articulation here. You see that? How fun is that? See, that's great. Love it. That is lovely. Okay, so this last part, this segment, goes into the little ball bearing that we had attached right there. There we go. And then it's funny, it gives you directions on articulating Bessie here for to get it kind of at the angle that they wanted. I really do think that's completely like whatever you think, you know. I'm like what the angle should be. I don't think that's you must have it at exactly this angle. I don't think. I do kind of wonder if that transparent little pole there kind of like support if that's, unless there's something I'm not done yet. Like if there's even much of a reason for it to be there. Did they just think that it needed the joints, the ball bearings just needed like a little more support? Maybe for the weight of the thing? I don't know. Maybe. Possibly. Oh, we have a little flag here. I already feel like I'm in Legoland. Of course, technically that just used to be the wasn't that the terminology for most of the Lego system sets. Like there was space and there was castle, but they were all part of Legoland. It wasn't just a theme park name. For their 90th anniversary set, or whatever it is, I think it's 90, I think it would be really fun for them to resurrect the Legoland terminology as more than just the theme park descriptor. I think that would be cool. And one more of these horrible clear-backed scale pieces. And I can put them behind me for good. It's not been any fun putting these on, but hey. It's all right, Lego. You can print all of the juniors pieces, but you can't help us 30-somethings. Because by golly, we like convenience too, Lego. Lego convenience isn't just for the kids, all right? You've got to help us out. We're getting old, and our eyes just aren't working the way that you clearly think that our eyes are working. It's funny, I've gone back to videos, and before I couldn't read something or I couldn't make out something, I just kind of brushed it off, and everybody in the videos and the comments are giving me a hard time because they can all see it as clear as day. And when I go back and watch the video, it turns out the camera is seeing it more clearly than I could see it, and I can see it better in the footage than when I actually filmed it, and I was looking at it without looking through the viewfinder of the camera. So, as funny as that is, it's definitely a thing. Oh, okay, I see what's going on now. This won't connect up here. This will go down here on this little red ball bearing piece, almost to simulate like Bessie here, like her tail is coming out from behind, like it's coiled around the Lego store. You see the illusion here, how fun that is? So she's kind of like coiled that way. How great is that? I also like the implement of the classic castle piece. That's nice, like the flag. That's so cool. All right, yeah. And maybe it's a little more fun if she's turned inwards just a little bit, like she's maybe looking at some of the people as they come in there. Maybe get that sorted out a little bit. Yeah. I think that the clear post is supposed to prop on top of the red area. Although I will say that I think it would have been better if they had had a more clear, like, slot for you to slot that clear post down into. I think that would have made a certain amount of sense. I think that would have been a little more conducive to what they were trying to do. There it is. I had forgotten a piece. Just know that if you're done building a bag and you look and you even have like a 1x2 piece, Lego didn't give you that 9 out of 10 times. You've just missed something. They absolutely have it down to science now. Let me show you what they're giving you as extra pieces. That's what they give you, like little 1x1s in all shapes and sizes, but still, they're not going to give you a smorgasbord of additional pieces. It's just not going to happen. All right, let's go back to our extra parts bag for Monkey Kid, as is tradition. As is tradition. If you get that reference, you're officially cool. I wonder if anybody in the comments can figure out where that's from. As is tradition. All right. Oh, we can go ahead and place the Lego store. Okay. Yeah, I don't know why I didn't already foresee that. Yeah, it's done. Man, this Lego store, I am so tickled with how this turned out. We're definitely gonna have the little girl in front of it leaving the Lego store. Like she's thrilled. She's had. I wonder what set she found while she was in there. Still waiting for somebody to tell me what set that she found. I wonder what she got. What would it be for you if you went in the Lego store? You had that expression on your face. What set are you walking out of the Lego store with? I wonder. All right, so we're getting our first kind of taste of the upper levels up here of the street. Let's just get an idea. Yeah, there's kind of your street right there. There it is from the back. What's great is that the backs of all of these buildings remain open, and some people don't like that much. I really like that because it's easy access as you go through. I mean, the truth is, and people can whine about that if they want to, the truth is nobody is going to have this city displayed like this. Like, I understand if you've got it in the middle of your Lego city, but it wouldn't be difficult to mod this and put a few little extra pieces in there if you wanted to. Most everybody in the free world is going to have it facing this way, so it doesn't matter about the backs being open. Just makes it easier to play and access, and that's what I like with these. You know, give you some options about what you do with the set. Yeah, very nice. Yeah, it was a little, my light was just a little bright. It was washing out some of the colors. You definitely need to get a feel for how colorful this thing is so far. All right. You know what? It's Sunday, Lego live stream. Let's just keep making it happen. What do you say? We got 3 bags to go. 15, 16, and 17. And I'll tell you what, at this point, I want to see this done. I want to see what's going on with this thing. I am in it to win it. I didn't think I would be, but yeah, here I am. So let's do it. Let's make it happen. All right, back down to the bottom we go. Keep building, building, building. Bag number 15. Here we go. Time to make up for the episodes where I only did like a couple of bags. I was tired and I'd been at work and too wore out to build anymore. Now let's make up for it. Let's make it happen. I've considered in the past having some little background music, little jaunt, you know, for when I'm building. But the more I think about it, the more I think that it takes away. There's an element, and you can tell me if this is not right, because I definitely want your opinion on this for future videos. But me personally, I think there's an element of ASMR to Lego building. There is a slight ASMR, or is it AMSR? ASMR? Whatever you want to call it. I think that there's an element of that. And I think music might drown that out quite a bit. I think there's an audio experience to hearing the pieces, to hearing the bags and things. So I don't want to get rid of that because it kind of makes it a little less authentic. When I watched my last live stream after it processed, come to a horrible realization that for the last over half of the video, which it wasn't very long, I wasn't at my best anyway in terms of just being wore out and all that. I was just completely wiped out. But a lot of the audio is not there. And it's because, as for these, you know, I'm just using my phone. I'm just using my iPhone to live stream straight through the YouTube app. Because, you know, why not, right? It's just a casual thing. But I have figured out the hard way that you absolutely, even when a push notification, comes through on the screen, you cannot swipe down that notification while you are live streaming. It will overload what YouTube is doing, and it will, when you return, and this happened to me months ago when I first got my first little taste of this, either your audio will be gone, or even worse, in a way, your video will be gone. So it could have been worse. I could have lost video. At least I didn't do that. Because now at least it survives as, you know, a document of going through. And if somebody wanted to watch it, you know, that way they don't have to mute me. I saved them a step. But if the video had been lost, that would have been a shame. So I'm thankful. I'm trying to work on thankfulness. I think it could really be beneficial for all of us to be viewing our lives through a more kind of thankful lens, right? My pastor was talking about that today. I thought that was very true. Expressing thankfulness. And that's a part of your zen, right? That's a part of your happy place. That's a certain level of spirituality. Being appreciative takes us to another place mentally, really. You know, here's something that I've just now realized. I went against my own advice. You remember earlier I was talking about always counting the studs. I didn't do that. So I ended up starting on the wrong kind of little plate. That's okay. I'll fix that. Let's just switch over here. I was working on the rectangle plate. I should have been working on the square plate. Easy fix. At least I didn't get very far, right? Well, in fairness, I couldn't have gotten that far because there wasn't enough room to do what I needed to do. So I kind of knew something was not right. Glad I figured that one out. Or should I say, I'm thankful that I figured that one out, because I am. This color is so cheese to me. You guys get cheese out of this? It's this kind of darkened yellow, light orange. It's such a cheesy color. It just, there's nothing else I can think of when I see it, when I deal with this kind of piece. I'll tell you what it reminds me of. It reminds me of those little like cracker stick kind of things that you would get in a little container as a kid. Had the little red thing to spread the cheese on them. That's the kind of cheese I'm seeing with this. That's an interesting piece. Not really sure what we're going for there. Maybe it's a button of some sort. Okay, we'll figure it out as we go, I guess. Oh, this kind of looks like some condiments here, because you have a little mustard and ketchup bottle attachment pieces. Interesting. I mean, we've already built a restaurant, so is this going to be a like ice cream parlor or something, or is that what we're doing? We'll find out. We have these little blue bottles. That's interesting as well. These are trans elements. These are little blue trans elements. Okay. Almost like little potions of some sort. Okay. And these little gold bottles have trans, completely clear lids on them. So I'm not really sure what we're building. Gold little bottles? Are these Well, no, they can't be perfumes, I don't think. Don't think they're cans. We're going to say it's caramel, right? We're going to stick with that original guess. Maybe. Okay. Just keep building up a little counter. At least that's what we'll what we'll say it is. We got a gold frog because, you know, why not, right? Is this something I'm like missing culturally here? Maybe that I don't understand something like from an Asian perspective. Maybe there's something going on here that I don't quite get. Okay. All right. All right. So that plugs in right here. This is going to be a very small little tight space, though. It's similar. It's done with the same 8x8 that the Lego store was done with. And here we're going to double this step over, and by the time we're done doubling this step over, there won't be a lot of pieces left. So this is going to be quick. These are just building the walls up a little bit. Just giving a little bit more verticality to the set, bracing it a little bit. We have more of that Easter yellow. Try not to bore you all day. Get to the point here. Easter yellow, more orange. I'm liking the striping though, right? It's almost retro-y, right? Like something you'd see in the 70s or the early 80s. I like that. There's almost something liminal about it, isn't there? Almost like something you have a memory of, but you've never been there. Like a pediatrician's office from 70s or 80s. At least that's what it puts me in the mind of. Health department. All right, yeah. It builds up our walls right away right there. Very quick. Even faster than the Lego store was. Very fast, very fast. All right. We have a transparent column, looks like. I don't know if this is a support column or what it's going to end up being. Whatever this thing is, it's going to have to make up its mind pretty quick because we're almost out of bag. It may be another situation where it's 2 bags. So that's definitely still a possibility, I guess. I think I used the wrong piece there. There we go. That's the one I was looking for. I was a little confused there for a second. And that piece was supposed to go on the back here. There we go. Oh, well, this is an air unit. So we, once again, doing that, which makes good sense. All kinds of businesses strung together in a city like this, you would have lots of ventilation, I would imagine. So it definitely makes sense to me. Okay, got that on there. And that's just going to help frame this part. There we go. I like how it's transparent. I don't know. Maybe it's supposed to simulate like nothing being there. Maybe they're trying to give the illusion of it, just of the air unit kind of just hanging, being like mounted to the ceiling. Maybe I'm thinking too hard into it, but that could be what they're going for, I think. I think I'd be happier with the door mounted the other way. I was trying to avoid putting the little copyright details on the outside. It keeps it more realistic looking, I think, if at this scale we can even be bothered with too much realism, honestly. I do like the handle of this door, though. This black piece being used, like this wedge. I think that works. That actually looks like a handle you would see. Okay, we do have a sticker. Okay, this is apparently called the Panda Store. I don't know what you get. Maybe it's just like a convenience store. Maybe I was right about possibly a perfume or something for one of those things. Maybe that is partially what it's supposed to be. Okay, for this, better not take any chances. I think probably what I better do is make sure I've got it centered. So to do that, I'll just put it on the end of a piece here and just kind of make sure that I've got it at least kind of where I want it. Maybe it should have come with the clerk's sign. I assure you we're open. Well, that seemed like a good idea for about half a second. Turned out it wasn't. That was too hard to get off of the piece there and have it lay flush. Let's try it like this. Hope for the best. Yeah, that's pretty good. Yeah, all else fails, just eye it. All right, we can put the door in now, in the frame. Very good. And we're gonna frame this out. Might not be too much to this little store, actually. There may be, there's a few more pieces though, so we'll see. You know, this store could be more concerned with the exterior than the interior. We kind of just had one little shelf of goods, so I'm curious if that's all there really is, or if there's a little bit more going on here some way or another, possibly. Leah? Looking for a piece. I think I know what I did. I was trying to use that piece to apply the sticker, and I've ended up putting it down somewhere weird, and now don't know where it went to. There it is. I think this one just got shoved off to the back there. It was so butted up against the actual model that I couldn't tell it apart from the sidewalk. It was a little far away too, so that didn't help me out any. All right, we can finally take the piece that I was trying to use for the floor, make it the roof. And there we go. Just like the Lego store, done in the exact same way. Or at least partially in the exact same way. Structurally. Same kind of structure. All right, now this is where I feel like a lot of the pieces are going to go for this one. Just a little store, and it's no Quickie Mart in there. Let me tell you, there's not a great variety of goods. It seems like a one stand of things, and that's it. They must sell only a very particular variety. Of course, that's kind of in line with some of these boutique stores that you might see in a mall or a shopping center. You know, the ones where everything are so incredibly expensive. And whoops, here I am punching my camera. And there's never anybody in there either, which is even more bizarre, I think. Never anybody in there. Prices are out of this world. Not in a good way. I do like the little lattice up here, like a tiny little gate that kind of brings some dignity to it, don't you think? A little bit of dignity up there. All right. Let's build it up. Okay. Got some studless pieces here to smooth things over at the top, kind of unify the look. Keep it going. Oh yeah. I like I don't know. This is the opposite of the Lego store, isn't it? Very simplistic and not very busy. Meant to feel, I think, almost utilitarian in its purpose. Definitely not like a super fancy store. To be a fun little stop. Like I said, I'm between the ideas of if it's the most basic store imaginable or one of those boutique stores that have prices that are just too high. So I don't know which category that this one fits into. Either way, I think it's a neat little build, but certainly one of the least. There's not as much going on with this one. I guess you're coming off of kind of a high of doing the really cool classic sets in the Lego store. And then this one is so basic, you miss that interior detail. Unless there's more to it and we've just not got there yet. I don't think so, though. I like the sticker. I do like the little mascot there. It's kind of creepy, though, isn't it? It's a little strange. A little, can we say unsettling, maybe? We have our studded heart piece here. I'm just gonna bring that in. It's gonna give us maybe some bamboo leaves to chew on. Yeah. I like how creative they were with little curved wedges there. Because you're able to do so much with them just by placing them at slightly different angles. So I love that. Oh yeah, I like that. The green backing back there. Although, you know, I wonder if the colors were reversed, would it have looked a little better if the backing was the same color as the sign and the leaves on the front were more of that standard green and not the turquoise? I don't know. I guess it's more unified like this. I'm no graphic designer, but I dabble. All right, there we go. Not really sure what we're doing with this part. Okay. I'll just trust the build, trust the manual as I go. Use the force. I guarantee you, if I just called the live stream Ninjago Lantern City, guarantee you that there would be a lot more interest probably in seeing what's going on with Monkey Kid. That's all you got to do. Just call it Ninjago, and the kids will come running. Say, Ninjago, what? I know Ninjago. You know, I'm honestly surprised, and I bet I would actually bet 100 on this, that Lego initially, when they were trying to theorize what to do with these sets, that somebody was like, hey, just have this be a segment of Ninjago for the Chinese market. Because that is where the Lego brand, you know, that's where their heads are at a lot of the time, is taking things and making it, you know, Ninjago centric, because it is their powerhouse for their original brands. And there's nothing wrong with that. I think it does stifle a whole lot of creativity, though. But, you know, you got to do what makes economic sense. So it's not like it's evil or anything. It's keeping the brand afloat. Oh, that's funny. Okay. I was so confused as to what this was, but I didn't get it until this. This is going to be a giant panda head. A brick-built panda head. Can you believe it? At first, I thought we were doing like a kitchen or something that would have like pots and pans, where you were, because of the two the pot pieces that we just saw, the black ones, which turned out to be the ears. Thank you. So call me shocked, I guess. Color me surprised. Why not, right? I'm having an uncharacteristically hard time getting this to click in. I can't be the only one that does this, that fumbles around with these circular pieces until they finally just clip in. I can't be the only one. And if I am, I would prefer to to never know that I'm the only one. Some Christian saint out there would just let me keep believing that, maybe. Okay, all right. I think that's good now. I think I was trying to put it on like too high, and the angle that the instruction manual showed it at almost made it look like that was the correct angle. These pink like cheeks here for this panda. My gosh. Turns out we're just building a Panda Express. It was a cross-promotional thing. Lego kept it very hush-hush. I've wrote to Panda Express for years because I keep trying to get them to add Panda to the menu. I keep reminding them that false advertising is dangerous, and they won't do it. You know, and I think I'm pretty reasonable in the request. They have a panda on the sign. I have yet to find Panda on the menu. It would be as if Kentucky Fried Chicken didn't serve chicken. And that's as distressing a thought as, you know, as you can muster. So this is a sticker that you do have to get it on, right? Because you can't spin this. So you have to get the orientation correct. That's a shame when they do that with circular stickers that are just like locked in. Not fun. Because you are trying to get it right, but it's not always perfect. You want it to be, but you know, what can you do? Close enough. Yeah, close enough. Okay. Looking good there, Mr. Panda. Or Mrs. Panda. I think I just assumed. Ooh. I could get canceled. All right. Let's see. Yeah. That Panda's had a delicious meal. They're very excited. Look at this. The back of the panda's head is so funny. So mechanical. He's twisted and evil. He's more machine than man now. More machine than panda now. Twisted and evil. Look at that. That is a happy little establishment, but we're not done just yet. We have to build a little bit of bamboo here. I say it like it's such a horrible chore, don't I? We have to build some bamboo. It's not what I mean. Okay. Some leaves. This kind of reminds me of the way that the trees are built just a little bit in the blacksmith workshop, the Lego Ideas set, which is a lovely set, by the way. Highly suggest everybody grab that. Blacksmith Workshop has to be one of the best Lego sets ever. And I think that after it's gone, that it's going to be one of those that people pine over pretty bad. Don't know if it's going to retire anytime soon, so it may not be anything to worry about. That might be the smartest thing about Lego's business model, that their retired Lego sets feel so much more like a final kind of thing than almost all other toy products. What's funny is that conceptually it's no different than any of these other products that just go out of circulation after so long. It just so happens that there's more of a stigma about Lego retiring. There's more of a market. Like, it feels like there's way more of a run on Lego. So when you hear retiring, you know, and that term, whoever came up with it, if it was Lego proper or what, it was pretty smart, because yeah, that kind of induces kind of a panic. There's sort of a dread there about that. Let's see. There appears to be, yep. This we didn't put on. Like I said, Lego's not going to give you much. So you better believe that when something seems missing, it's actually missing. See, it goes down here in front of these steps, so we should have done that early. But I forgot. I should have done it early. I said it was my bad. Okay, other than that, it is time to place this thing. But before we do, we're going to go to our extra parts bag. There we go. Okie dokie. Let's get this thing attached. Go up top side right here. And we have a girl that I almost forgot about that we built right at the beginning of the bag that has this lantern. So we're going to say that she's the proprietor of this business. All right. Here we are at the top level. I'm just going to attach this as God intended. All right. Yeah, great connection right there. It's a modular connection, so let's test that out. Let's test the waters on. Yeah, nothing stays on, so that's good. You'll be able to take this out and just, you know, do what you will with it. So that ain't bad. All right, we are getting closer to a very complete looking City of Lanterns. That's looking great, looking great. So let's go ahead. We have 2 bags to go, 16 and 17. And then it'll be done. We have what I believe will be a very impressive structure there for the centerpiece, because I think it's going to be fairly vertical. So it's going to go pretty high. Yeah, I don't know. It kind of looks like sort of a hotel almost. All right, well, we're not going to finish this up by talking about it. Let's get right back into it. Okay. Bag 16. We do have quite a few little stickers. So I know that this is going to be stickered up quite a bit. And this bag looks at least fairly extensive. So it's not like a tiny little bag. 17 is a lot less expensive. So this might have us building for the longest amount of time, I think. There we go. A little pile of bricks here. Okie dokie. I believe we're building another one of our little city robot friends right here. So this should be fun. These guys have very original little designs to them. There's the other little grabber piece. I love the design of these little guys. I think they did a really good job conceptualizing what little, almost janitorial robots might be like. Also hits home their whole kind of, maybe in the near future, motif where it's everything's slightly more techy, I guess. Even though there's already robots doing menial jobs. I think that'll be more of a thing when I'm an old man, you know, God willing, hopefully. But I definitely feel like that's going to be more of a thing in 20 or 30 years. You're going to be seeing more robots doing like cleanup and floor buff and all of that. I do find it amusing how people always assume the future is closer than it actually is. You know, the events of Terminator 2 Judgment Day, where artificial intelligence becomes, you know, incredibly advanced, happens, and the end of the world is supposed to happen in 1997. You know, if only they had had their ducks in a row, wouldn't it have made the most promotional sense of all time to have had Terminator 3, James Cameron Terminator 3, to have had it come out on the date of Judgment Day in 1997. They missed probably one of the greatest promotional opportunities of all time to have had a James Cameron Terminator 3 come out on Judgment Day and it be about the events, the revisionist events of Judgment Day and how they make absolutely sure that it doesn't happen. What a shame. I've always been a proponent of the idea that James Cameron couldn't figure out what Terminator 3 was supposed to be about. And so he said that he wasn't going to embarrass himself by trying. There's a lot of wisdom in that. Is just pretty much saying that, you know, I know this won't be as good as what I just did, so maybe I shouldn't do it. I'm actually a pretty big fan of Terminator 3. A lot of fond memories as a teenager, me and my brother going to see Terminator 3, so I have no hatred for Terminator 3. As a matter of fact, I definitely, I think out of all the possible sequels that they did, I actually think Terminator 3 was probably ended up being the strongest one. I also really liked Terminator Salvation. I thought it was actually really good. Probably one of the funniest things I could say about Salvation is it actually makes me angry when I think about what they originally wanted to do with Terminator Salvation, because that was such a horrible idea and it leaked and they changed it. And so I always feel like it's like I like it, but in the back of my head, I'm like, yeah, they actually wanted to do something horrible with this movie. So I'm conflicted about how much I like Terminator Salvation, but not so conflicted about Terminator 3. I think Terminator 3 is a lot of fun. Don't think Terminator 3 is supposed to be very deep. there's elements of it that are very emotional, but nothing that's very deep. You know what's really funny is Linda Hamilton saying continually, just saying, "Well, I'm not coming back," over and over again. You know, oh, I'm just not gonna play Sarah Connor. I'm not gonna play Sarah Connor. Then she chooses to come back, like years after it would have been appropriate for her to have been, and she looked great, of course, and you know she got into fighting shape and all of that. But you know, there's definitely things about the Terminator Dark Fate that I don't like very much, especially their ideas. Like it's the best executed out of all the Terminator sequels. Like it's definitely the best shot, I think, and the best choreographed and the best acted even, I think, in a lot of ways. And I really love a whole bunch of what they did. But it also has some of my least favorite ideas in it. Like some of my very least favorite ideas, like total opposite of what I would do, like for the canon, and disrespects a whole lot of canon. And it's one of those things like I can't, it's hard for me to see past that. Although it's still very good. I would definitely suggest anybody watch Dark Fate one time, but I'm not very interested in watching it again necessarily. But it was fun. Here's a crossover with one of the newer sets. Chengi here. I think that's how you pronounce it. Chengi? Cheng? I'm not sure. But her moon cakes, there she is with her rabbit. So, pretty funny. Now, these are always a little stressful to get these big, giant decals on, or decals, as I've heard Canadians say. Decals? Let me get my decal on here, man. Good enough. All right. There's my decal. But I just can't get over that. I'm sure there's all sorts of things I pronounce in a funny way. But I still get so much amusement from hearing people say Deckle. Is it Dr. Deckle and Mr. Hyde? uh, oh my. So this is interesting. I'm plugging this in here. Is that supposed to... Maybe that's right. Doesn't seem like it's right, but maybe. No, there's no way. Oh, so this is supposed to be, they do a very poor job of showing you, but this is supposed to be at an angle. Like it's supposed to like connect like this. So this actually goes into this slot right here. And you've got kind of this funny angle created, which I've never quite connected pieces like that before. It's funny, but I like it. Certainly gives it an asymmetricality to it that I think makes it a lot more interesting than just having this basic, you know, everything's in a cube. That was my biggest fear with this set, is that it would be Cube City the whole way through. Cube after cube after cube. No, they've actually done a great job of making... They gave a tremendous amount of attention to doing brick-built 3D signage, which is a lot more effective than you would think it would be at kind of varying things up and giving it more life, keeping it from being this drab thing, right? So I actually think that's a tremendous way of doing it. All right, let's see what we got here. Oop. Pieces flying everywhere. Having a hard time finding what I'm needing here. That is one good thing I'll say about these, is that there's not many pieces in a bag, so it's not the worst thing. You're having trouble finding something, you just gotta, case in point, look a little harder. I feel like used to, there were fewer bags in a lot of sets. So what ended up happening was that you would be digging and digging forever. Man, it still bites me when I buy sets that are used, because, you know, I'm having to just arrange everything by color. That's what I do anyway. I just arrange it all by color and hope for the best. I'm so used to everything being really well, like, pre-sorted and so accurate, that it's really softened me quite a bit on having to find pieces. It's become a real pain. I almost avoid used sets altogether just for that reason alone, because they're so much harder to build and so much more time consuming. And then every now and then you've got to wash the pieces, which is what I did recently. It was worth it to me to save. I think I ended up saving $50 doing it like that, or better, 50 or better, maybe 40. But I don't know. I guess I can pre-sort and wash pieces to, you know, that's a pretty significant little sum of money that you could save by buying it used. So, I mean, what can you do? Guess it's always a choice. You know, sometimes I wonder if Lego, and maybe this is a bridge too far for a lot of people, but maybe Lego themselves ought to get into certified reselling of retired sets. And technically, I guess they are, in a way, but it's not from them, because don't they own Bricklink now? Didn't Lego, like, buy Bricklink? So in a way, they do have a stake in controlling that. Guess they can certainly monitor it anyway. You know, I'll always say that's a helpful thing in a way, because it kind of shows Lego what people are buying and what's going big on the secondary market. So in a way, they're able to, you know, put that into consideration. It also probably helps them consider what sets to retire and which ones to keep around for a while, because there's been like last second extensions of life for Lego sets in the past. I remember that happened with the Lego Ideas Treehouse. I think that's an Ideas set. I have it, but I still haven't assembled it. It's a beautiful looking set from everything I'm seeing. I definitely need to put it together. But that is only now, finally, about to retire, and that had a very rare last minute extension of life. Don't know how that was determined or why it was determined, but it got an extension. It got a reprieve. The governor called and spared its life. You know, I'm really loving this this electrical post here. It's fantastic looking. I'm very surprised by the amount of detail in it. I really am. We're going to apparently rig it up to something here. Oh, this is for signage. Okay. So this is where we're finally going to use this little Mario looking guy. Right there. Look at him waving. Oh, this is it says 90 on it. I believe this is a Lego 90th anniversary reference. It's like a banner that the City of Lanterns has hung up celebrating. So this city is into two things and two things only. They're huge fans of Journey to the West, and they're really into Lego. That's it. Oh, and eating. They love to eat here in the City of Lanterns. Oh, and lanterns. Yeah. I guess that's four things, right? Oh, and karaoke. Okay. All right. All right. They have some varied interests. I get it. I get it. Still, they know what they like here in the City of Lanterns, and Lego is, by golly, it's one of them. Look at that. I like how it has to be like a transparent sign, almost like they're trying to say that it's a hologram or something, like a holographic sign. Just to make sure that everybody is reminded that this is a technological city of the future. This is a modern marvel. This city with their holographic signs and their completely out of place harpoon spear guns right here that randomly get mounted to this and that. Just, you know, the very best for the City of Lanterns. You know what's really funny is I have the sign should be out here. There we go. Sorry, Lego. There we go. That's better. That's better. The other way it was in the back. So we're going to take our spear gun, totally out of place spear gun. Put it right there. Oh, not like that, we won't. And that is just meant to be a mounting for a, you guessed it, a lantern. Ooh. You mean they've got lanterns in the City of Lanterns? Anything's possible. Don't even question it. I tell you, honey, there's lanterns in that city. Everybody knows. Everybody's talking about it. The dramatic amount of lanterns that's in that city. All right, so this, believe it or not, was actually, it turned out the whole time I thought we were working on the main building, this was a little extension, like a little side extension, that is just there to be some extra signage and also some, like the electrical pole here. That just goes on the side here. Yeah, how cool is this? You would be forgiven for thinking that it mounts to just the two Technic pen holes that's at the bottom there, but they don't. And this is something you should watch out for when you build the set. If you do, they actually mount to these holes at the bottom, the ones in black. So you just go out a little bit and voila. So how cool is that? And it kind of gives a little extra life to that side. It sort of makes it more interesting. And now we can go ahead and start building what I believe is the hotel, I think. And we're going to start, just like the other buildings, with I believe it's an 8x8. So that's cool. All right, let's begin. This is the final building in the set, as far as I know, unless there's extra little mini build we do maybe at the end or something. But truth is, I'm not really aware of that, if that is a thing. But it should be fun to see everything together at the end, and plus to do a couple of live experiments about extra buildings and what we can do with our extra buildings. I may not be big on building Ninjago cities, but I think that I'm going to become pretty interested or invested in building a Monkey Kid city, the City of Lanterns, build that up. And I know the vast majority of people are probably just going to put in their Ninjago and Monkey Kid stuff together. You know, maybe Lego is missing the boat. Maybe what they should be doing is a crossover with Monkey Kid and Ninjago, and use that to introduce Monkey Kid in the United States. East meets East. I mean, have they not considered this? Or is there something about, like with the Japanese market, is this the kind of deal to where it would seem disrespectful of this product's development if they did something to promote it to the U.S. audience more than they are currently? I think that would bring the kids in. I really do. I think you roll out the cross promotion there, and all of a sudden, I think you're cooking with gas. I think all of a sudden you've got a winner. But like I said, I question very much Lego's even willingness to even do anything beyond the bare minimum to promote Monkey Kid outside of China. I think right now we're seeing it on Amazon and a presence on Amazon. I think that is all just kind of extra gravy for Lego. I think that's just like a, hey, we can make a few bucks off of this, do it. I don't think it's a grand design for them. I honestly think they're taking probably inventory from the Lego stores that they didn't sell, and probably that is a tremendous amount of the stock that they're sending to Amazon to sell. And when I say that, I don't mean they're literally taking them off the shelves, they clearance that out. What I mean is stock that maybe they had prepared for Lego stores that didn't need it. And there's all sorts of reports of older Monkey Kid sets being cleared out, but I mean, that's with any retiring sets they're about to go. I wouldn't know what that is to go to a retail Lego store and find all these tremendous deals on Lego store exclusives and all this. That seems like such a alternate reality, foreign concept to me. Like, I can't imagine how lucky people are right now to be able to walk into a Lego store and get 30 or 40% off of an old Monkey Kid set from that first wave. Like, you are incredibly lucky if you're in that position. Don't take that for granted. You should definitely buy a marked down Monkey Kid set. If at all possible, you definitely should. You are missing the boat if you do not, my friend. All right, so here's one of the last larger sticker applications. This is probably the largest one left. It is a poster, and on it you can see, I think it's a reenactment of part of the story of Journey to the West. I think that's what we're looking at here. Definitely the biggest one left to apply, one of the biggest ones. I think there's one little signage sticker that's longer. But I think this is supposed to be like in the lobby. Once again, reinforcing how important Journey to the West is to the City of Lanterns. Because like I said, in this continuity, in this reality, it isn't just a story. It is the actual history of China in this continuity. So it's something that's ingrained. You can see it right there. Something that is just ingrained into every part of their city and all their design philosophy and their culture. This is one of the first times I think we've ever seen Lego attempt kind of like a culture modification. I mean, we've seen Lego do completely made up like islander cultures and things like that. And of course, things based off of movies and other properties. But this is Lego from the ground up being like, hey, here's this culture. We're going to be true to it, but also like to a real, identification of the culture. But we're also going to modify some things about it. Check this out. You can see under the sticker that there must have been a piece of dirt or debris that got in there at the very bottom. So I'm going to attempt to take the corner of the wax paper here and work that out of there. And if you ever find yourself in this same predicament, just start at the corner. Just work your way in very slowly using the wax paper. And it's a shame, but it happens. And from there, just kind of slowly work your way in. The goal is to raise up the sticker just enough where you can free whatever little piece of dust or whatever it is right out of there. I see it. It's a little, just the smallest little nothing. Okay. Yeah, and as you can see, once you do that, I had to do it off camera because I just couldn't, you can't really concentrate, but you can still see the little indentation where it was pressed in, but thankfully it's gone. So it was better that I noticed that now rather than later and have to disassemble the hotel or something like that. I am a little too particular when it comes to that sort of thing, but hey, everybody has their little hang-ups, I guess. Okay, back to action here. To borrow a turn of phrase from the Power Rangers. Hardly any pieces left in this bag, believe it or not. As hard as that is to believe, can't even believe I'm saying it. Oh boy. Wah wah. Blooper reel. Yeah, there's not much left at all. I think what we're going to end up with is the main structure for the hotel. And I think there's a pretty significant, that last bag at the end, I think is used almost exclusively to build up this giant 3D design that you'll see very soon. I do know a little bit about what that is, but we'll see. There we go. Just building up the sides of the walls here. A little silver and gold mix. For this, we're just repeating all these steps. Just repeat it. Okay. I've never ever liked doing this. It's the suitcases. Look what happens. You bend them and you instantly get this white like stress line where you're warping the plastic. I know that that's what you're supposed to do for these Lego suitcases, but I don't like ever warping plastic like that. It's just it's something I can't get comfortable with, being an action figure guy. So I've been wondering what these were. It almost looked like micro scale church pews, but no. These are baggage storage. So it's at the beginning of the hotel, I guess. I think it's a hotel anyway. you have your suitcases ready for the bellhop to take them on. Okay, we've got a door and a door frame. Okay, this little click. Then we have a decal. And this simply goes right in the front here. We'll just try to center that up as best we can. Good enough. Okay, have our transparent decal there. And it's fairly well centered. Never like having to apply these things to door frames. It just, or the doors, it just never works out. Got a gold doorknob. Could you imagine being a minifig and actually having to open doors with a Lego set? I don't even know mechanically how that would work. That would be a funny concept, though. Okay, the top. Okay. Oops. Believe it or not, that is not how you put the black pieces on. I was just kind of going by instinct, really, there. And it turns out that you have to turn them. So, get this one back off. Show you what I'm talking about there. Okay. Take this, and that's how it's supposed to go. As weird as that is, as little sense as that makes. Okay, so there's your entrance, I do believe. And with a very few pieces left, we're going to build out the frame. Oops. Okay, that seals off the area. This really inspires me to do some mocks that would be in the same style, because I'm definitely getting a feel for like the method that they're using. It's a very cool method. It's, 8x8, then, a roof piece, and then some, walls that are kind of go crazy. You kind of go ham doing the walls whichever way, because we've seen three or four very distinct methods for how they did it. And, a door frame. You just leave the back open. It's a simple way to do it. It's the kind of thing that I would have to design like digitally first, and then order the pieces that I need with that little Lego program, that designer program. But I don't know. I think it would be fun. And then we have some plants that are at the front of the hotel, as you might expect. I had it wrong there for a second. Nope. I've got it. So these have such a funny shape to them. Not even sure what these pieces were originally meant to be, but you see how the ends of them are so funny. Kind of have an angular end. Okay, so those go in the front. Then we also have the red carpet that goes out in the front, which I think is a really nice touch. Kind of brings things together in a nice way. Okay, and then we have the actual little sign. It is a stickered element. Just looking for the sticker. Ah, there it is. It's called the Lotus Hotel, which explains the lotus flowers everywhere. I think I've not watched the new season of Monkey Kid because it's not out here yet, and I would rather wait for the dub myself. But I know that in China it's out. And some people were speculating, and I don't know if this is true. This isn't a spoiler or anything, but some people were speculating that maybe the Lotus Hotel here would be like a major location in it, just because of its placement here in the City of Lanterns. So I don't know. Maybe. Because the Lotus Hotel kind of seems like the main event in this set. It's definitely the center of operations. So it kind of makes you wonder if that's kind of like their headquarters. Very few extra pieces. And as is tradition, we will put them in the extra pieces bag. All right, well, I'm ready for the final bag, so let's do it. There we go, bag number 17. I think a lot of this, we're going to be building a giant lotus flower, I think, that goes on the top. This big three-dimensional brick-built thing. I think that's a lot of what the yellow and gold pieces are. So that should be really fun. So definitely looking forward to seeing that come together. I'm looking even more forward, honestly, to seeing the whole thing, like finally, all the buildings, all the colors, and just everything. That's what I'm interested in. All right, let's do this. Last bag, here we go. I'm going to shut up and build for the first time. this goes on the top. Okay. All right, we have another stickered element. This looks like a little kiosk or a little, like a thermostat in a way. I don't know why I said kiosk. Like a little control panel for something like that. All right. So these are a little easier to align because you don't have to go to the very middle of the piece. These are supposed to be aligned to the top. I can handle that. Although maybe not as well as I thought I could. There we go. So there's our little cat kiosk slash thermostat slash data pad. And on the other side, we have this. Not really sure, but you know, it says something in Chinese, I can only assume. And after that, we only have one more sticker to go. Thank goodness. Thank God. Here we go. It's a little motivational poster, we'll say. Oh, I see. This is a little bedroom right here. Turn this up a little bit, yeah. So you can see it has a little poster there, a little thermostat, we'll say, right over there. Since there's a cat on it, we can only assume that means it controls how many cats are in your room. That's it. That's the whole thing. Okay. And we'll just finish out the bedroom. It's a one-person hotel. That's it. Hopefully you booked in advance. Airbnb. Just bracket those in right there. Oh, this is cool. So we're going to be using a lot of these, and they're just kind of like curved building pieces, like curved windows. And I think what it's going to do is end up giving the illusion of there being a lot more rooms than there actually is. Which, of course, with this kind of micro minifig scale, that's what you want. You want it to look like there's more going on than there actually is. Facade building. Yeah, that's definitely what I'd call it. Definitely more of a facade. More more design, less substance. Okay, and I think we have one more. And one more window will do it. These are very difficult to find. They blend right in because they're transparent. And in my case, I'm using a black table here, and they're kind of dark. You can barely see them on the table. Finally found it though. There we go. Okay. Ready to apply our windows, which I think will end up making quite a bit of difference in the actual look of the hotel, I think. All right. There we go. See how it's just amazing how quickly those add personality and character to the hotel. I had one that I needed to redo the window on real quick. There we go. All right, we've got our hotel, a lot of the exterior done right there in one fell swoop. Okay, and building out the top now. Just linking up some of those kind of rafter pieces. Here we go. And now we have, I think this is the last sticker. So who'd have ever thought we'd see it, right? It's the Lotus. I can only imagine it says hotel there or Lotus in Chinese. Not really sure which one, but still cool. All right, we have our Lotus sign right there. You can barely see the Lotus in there, right? because it's just not coming through very much. So that's one complaint, I guess, about the printing of the stickers. But in this light, I can see the Chinese characters very easily, but not the actual lotus flower pictures. As funny as that is. I guess it's more important to see the characters on the sign, but still, you would think they would want that to come through. I'm sure they did want it to come through, but it just just didn't. A little cap off there. And we have a couple of pieces meant to cap the tops here of the curved windows. Okay. And a big piece right here. And surely something will hang off of. And a sea of gray at the top here, as we attempt to create a surface for the roof to exist on. Approaching the very end now for what I believe are just a few pieces left to build the giant lotus. Looks like first we're going to make a little ring. All around this piece. And we have some gray frogs that go up here just for design. So that's kind of funny. This frog is almost like a gargoyle in a way. Kind of serves the same purpose. It's this little decorative thing that looks out. Imagine if in the old Greg Wiseman cartoon Gargoyles, imagine if the gargoyles were frogs. Vengeful frogs. Instead of Goliath, you had Toadliath. My name is Toadliath. It's still Keith David, though, doing the voice. It's just a lot more intense coming out of a frog, let me tell you. It does nothing to undercut the tension. I'll tell you that right now. And this is wrapping up. We only have a few small pieces to build out this lotus, which I think we are building the foundation of right now. I believe. Yep. Okay. It's going to go right there at the top of the roof. Okay. And we are going to build some lotus petals. I think 4 of them to be exact. So here's a petal. Another. A lot of things I could have imagined building this year. Not sure if a giant brick-built 3D representation of a lotus flower would have been one of them. But, you know, here we are. That's how we roll. You just skip a section of the octagon here, and then you have the first bloom of the lotus. And then we're going to build some, I believe, larger petals. We're going to build 4 of these. This is just a brilliant way to create this, and who knows, maybe some of their botanicals team helped with some of that. Because they're doing brilliant work right now. I don't know, I've been interested in getting some of those. I mean, they're just gorgeous. People are making flower arrangements with them. Very nice. If you've got a special someone in your life and they love Lego, it might be a good idea. I think mine would prefer real flowers. Just a hunch there. So what you're going to do with these is you're going to go to the sections that you skipped earlier down below, and then that's going to help bring out the rest of it like that. And what's great is that you have a certain level of control. And so you can kind of articulate this bloom like as the petals if you want to do different things or be at different levels of bloom. Kind of like it out just a little bit. Kind of gives it a little spontaneity there. And of course the fire rings are apparently a big part of this wave of sets. Fire rings are kind of a MacGuffin, I think, for this line. It's the kind of thing that I think that most of your adult fans are not going to be as worried about, I guess. Not that there's anything wrong with them, just probably not something that anybody's too concerned about, but it's, you know, it's represented here. So if you care about the fire rings, there's your fire ring. Don't really understand it or, you know, really know what it's all about myself. Maybe if I was more familiar with the Journey to the West story, maybe I would understand. And of course, feel free to educate me in the comments. I would love to know more. Okay. And then just a couple more pieces down here, and that's over. We've got one of these. Whoops, get this back out of the way. Well, this is interesting. Not really sure what we're building right here. We'll find out. Definitely very flower-esque. Oop. Oh, yeah, okay. We were building the final lantern, I guess. I guess that was intentional on their part, that they wanted the last thing you built was to be this kind of ornate, or extra ornate, the kind of king of all lanterns here. Of course, lanterns for the Chinese carry all sorts of cultural significance, and that they don't necessarily carry in the West. So I know that this was probably a very big thing for them. And of course, I should have known we'd be hanging something off of this in the front, which I'd kind of slipped my mind. And so we just hang it there, and technically that was the last piece of building that we're doing. Now we just connect it and it's done. So believe it or not, there was approximately one extra piece in that bag, and that was it, by the way. That was it. Okay, let's get some height so we can actually see what's happening. Okay. All right, this is exciting. I'm gonna get my tree moved out of the way just a little to make sure that there's no problem with clearance. Once again, we're just going to those modular pegs down there, modular studs, should I say. I'm in the world of action figures so much that I can only think of like pegs is the word to use. Move it up a little. All right. And that completes our set. Let me get zoomed out just a little bit more so you guys can see. You can see a little bit of the Barracuda Bay set back there. Let's go a little higher so you guys can see. That's it. And then it's a beauty, let me tell you. Gorgeous set, gorgeous set. Let me get the minifigs populated here. Get them in all the right spots. There's a very narrow sidewalk up here. That's funny. And then we have Pigsy's hot air balloon, which we can finally kind of get back where it needs to be. Okay. We can kind of just have him around maybe. This is gorgeous though to see this. Like I think we can come back down now a little bit now that you've seen the whole thing. This is just a beautiful set, phenomenal. We'll definitely bring the trolley around here and turn it. That was from the side here. It still actually manages to look great from the side. I think it ends up looking pretty good from the back. Certainly doesn't look complete or anything from the back, but it doesn't look awful. I've seen a lot worse backs of Lego sets. You know, one thing I will say is that there's kind of a funny, I think I need to, there's something I need to definitely look into is these things right here. They hang down, right? But they kind of stop the trolley a little bit, like it comes out to about right here and they start stopping it. And I'm not sure that's supposed to happen. I guess it is, maybe. But I'm not really sure about that. That's something I'll probably need to look into before I do a review of the set to make sure that I understand what's going on back here. Might have been something I did wrong, you never know. It's funny, I didn't quite have the Lotus Hotel plugged in all the way. Love all the little play spaces back here. Fantastic way to access it. And there's some fun details in the back too. Like down here, you have the little kind of like scooter that you can rent, I guess, at the kiosk. Just lots of fun stuff. There's things on the side you can look at, and I really liked this because it added, a little something to the side. I don't know. I love it all. There's so much more to it than I thought there would be when I first started building it. Even down here at this level, which I thought would be the most boring, you can see that just this entryway into the restaurant is just cool looking. There's more going on there than you might think. There's more design going on there than you might think. So I think that's terrific. Yeah, this is gorgeous. Love it, love it. What is there to say? I mean, this is a beautiful set, and it's so modular. You can take everything out if you want to. It's very easy to take out and put back in. I think that we're going to put Pigsy here in the oncoming path of the train. I don't know, Pigsy's had enough. But seriously, this is gorgeous. You put things like, yeah, you can bring in other minifigs from other sets. Just kind of, Demon Bull King's family can be kind of touring around. It's a beautiful set, and what's great is it feels compact enough to where I'm not real stressed about wondering how I'm gonna display this or store this. It's really tall, but it's not so tall that it feels impossible to like put somewhere. It's wide, but It certainly doesn't have as much of a footprint as I thought it would have in terms of taking up a bunch of space. So nothing but good things from what I can tell. Nothing but good things. Let's do what I said I would. And let's combine a building with it. Because I want to see how possible it is. This is more speculative than anything so far. Then I saw some spots where maybe you could do some connections. And here is one of the buildings that you get with one of the other sets. You can see that there's a couple of little Technic pins, almost like a modular building connection point. So you can see that over here on the side, that at the karaoke place, that's not like a real connection, right? Like it's just, I don't think that you could do anything with that because those are already pins in there. So you can't really do anything with that. You can do things back here probably if you want to connect things in with those pins. But what I'm interested in is this on the side. You have two pins that are just kind of begging to be connected to another set. And so in this case, I'm knocking things over in my set. Let me put it back together real quick. So in this case, I guess we'd take those pins out, wouldn't we, for connecting this, because we need this to be a different kind of connection. All right, pins are out. And there's been some comment on Lego retooling their pin connections to make them easier. So will it go? Let's see. Yep. Clicked right in. And on the side, I can then expand it out with this so that we have a little noodle shop right there, an arcade, and another building. It might not look as good from this side, but I mean, it's still cool that you can do it. I don't know about connecting more than that though, because there's no other connection points that are more obvious. So you could still connect things out from the back, I guess. And if you really wanted to, I guess you could always kind of modify this little area back here to where you take out the microphone and then have something to where you can put in there. But from the side, I really like this because it gives it more of that feeling of it being like contained. And it kind of gives this a little more context, this walkway right here. So that's just one option for you. I think it's a cool option. Probably how I'm going to keep it, more than likely. For now, let me get Pigsy's blimp, or I keep saying blimp, hot air balloon. There we go. Let go on the train. Yeah, sort of. But this is just a lovely set to see it all together like this. You can see some of my posters in the background there. Yeah, this is gorgeous. Other than that, I don't think there's any like play features necessarily that I've missed. I think as we've gone through, we've definitely kind of talked about all of those and looked at different ways. These buildings you can switch out. You can put them in different orders because they're just drop in, drop out. Especially up here, you could do different things with the orders, with the way things are laid out. There's definitely lots of options for you if you want to get creative. But this is by far one of my favorite Monkey Kids sets. I don't know if it's better than the Monkey King mech, because that's kind of a revolutionary sort of thing for me. Like, at least in my head, it's a revolutionary set. Let's have just a little bit more fun before we call it a day. Let's bring out the Demon Bull King and see what his scale is like. And here is the Demon Bull King. So, I guess he can destroy the city like that. And I'll grab the Monkey King mech. And here is the Monkey King mech. And so these guys, these two titans, can finally have kind of an area to have a showdown at, right? I mean, look at that. Talk about having a backdrop for an epic confrontation right here. I mean, you can't beat this. I know what my display is going to look like now for Monkey Kid. Yep, I have a feeling that it's going to look something like this. Look at that. Look at that epicness. Make eye contact here. It's always important. It's kind of a Godzilla Kong matchup, isn't it? Have an axe and slightly smaller, kind of. Instead of a gorilla, he's a bull, but still, you know. All right, man, that is just as glorious as it gets, isn't it? See, now I'm just having fun. Oh man, I think I may change the thumbnail to this, right? Or something similar. Oh man, that's so cool. That is cool. Who could say no to this kind of setup, right? Then at some point you can just put things in front of it where you don't even know there's a city there anymore, right? This is they come back from space to this. All right, friends. Well, I'd say this was probably as good a place as any to call it a day right here on this live stream. I want to thank the ones that sat with me and hung out with me and chatted, talking about this special build. It truly is a glorious thing, and thank you so much for watching. Of course, friends, remember this week to be thankful and be thankful for each other and every day we have. And I just want to say God bless you and yours. So this is Jared, Fanboy, signing out.